Ready? Play.
Welcome everyone. Let's start the press conference. Please, questions in English.
Jannik, thank you. Congratulations. This afternoon, did you play the match of your life? And what did it feel like playing that match?
Match of my life, I don't know, but it's for sure very, very important. You know, as I say, it helps a lot. The last competition, that is a team competition, and because you get a lot of energy from your teammates, from the whole team, and then the crowd is different. And I really enjoyed playing today. It was a great match. I started off really well, and obviously in the second set he raised his level, and the third set I just tried to hold my service games and waiting for a good opportunity, which arrived on 5-all, and I took it. And obviously it was a very crucial match for the whole team, and at the end of the match I was really happy for the team to be at least able to play a deciding doubles, and you know, we played really good, and I think it was a really positive day today.
Jannik, I just wanted to ask you about the 3 match points that you saved at 4-5 in the third set in the singles. Can you just talk us through what was going through your head? How did you remain calm in those moments, and what were you trying to do in each of those points?
I know that it was a really important, obviously, important game. We changed not for so long for new balls, so I knew if I'm gonna serve well that maybe I have some free points. But I had to stay in the present moment. It was love 40, and he missed a quite easy backhand, which gave me a little bit of confidence and belief. And then after I served twice, really good. And nothing, you know, after this kind of games, your energy level and then mental level, it's racing, and I think this helped me today.
Jannik, over here. I'm not sure anyone else can maybe say they've beaten Novak Djokovic twice in one afternoon. What does that achievement mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot. Obviously, before the match, we were talking that it was a really important test today. You know, trying to understand what to expect before the match, and then I think we made a good tactical moment also before the match, and obviously playing it is a little bit different, but I think I have to be really proud about how I handled the situation. And as I said, I'm just very happy for all of us, for the team, and tomorrow we have a great opportunity. We know this, but in the other way we will try to stay as relaxed as possible, you know, keeping the smile in our head, which is important also, and then also to be happy to be here. No, it's not so many. For me, it's the first time that we can play a final in Davis Cup, which it means a lot for us.
One last question in English.
Jannik, just looking forward to the final, and to the guys, please, as well, and the Australian team that you're facing in the final. You'll be playing De Minaur, presumably, in the second match, and you've got this extraordinary hold over him. I think he's only going to take 1 set off you. How much of an advantage do you think that is for you, and what confidence does that give you?
Well, we don't know who is going to play.
Se ti faccio giocare.
Yeah, we have to decide. We have to. You know, I have a lot of hours in my leg. This I know. If I play against him, it's gonna be different. You know, finals, as I said, it's always different. But let's see. It's his decision. He's the captain of the team, and so he can answer you that.
What do you say?
Thanks, Jannik.
Passava me.
No, obviously it's our point of power. Jannik gave us a lot of energy, gave us a lot of confidence in ourselves, obviously. He's a great player, but he's not only a great player, so he's a great person. That's what I like. So, yeah, he's probably in the first position to play tomorrow.
What do you think of the Australian team?
Strong, different. Different from Serbians. Maybe more, maybe closer than Netherlands, as singles and doubles. But still, we have to take care of us, thinking about tomorrow, enjoying today, but focus for tomorrow. So head to tomorrow.
We switch into Italian, per favore, domande in Italian.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready? Play.
Well, hello there, and welcome to Talking Tennis. And we're here to watch the rematch of Jannik Sinner against Andrey Rublev from last week, weirdly enough. Sinner looking for revenge. Not sure that was the way around we were expecting. And joining me to cover this match is the one and only Vanch Mamani. Vanch, how you doing?
Hey there, Nick. Yeah, we have a rematch of last year's quarterfinal, won by Andrey Rublev. So I'm excited to get into that. I think I'm also keeping tabs on Sabalenka and Samsonova. It looks like that Sabalenka is likely going to take this match. She's about to get a double break in the second set.
Yeah, obviously, if you've been following the channel, you would have just seen that we had James and Matt guiding us through Swiatek versus Andreeva, and very well, expertly done as well. Close match between those two, it has to be said. I kind of enjoyed watching it in the end, actually. It was interesting seeing Andreeva keep it close, but potentially setting up now a Sabalenka-Swiatek semi-final in Cincinnati, which I think would be the blockbuster match if it was to happen tomorrow. So I'm excited about that prospect. I don't know, what do you think of the Swiatek-Andreeva match?
Yeah, I've been impressed by Andreeva all week in her first two matches when she took out Navarro and then came back from a set down against Jasmine Paolini. I think her serve and her forehand have been improving, week by week this year, particularly on these fast courts in Cincinnati. She was getting a lot of help with the serve, a lot of really good precise locations, mixing up the ad serve, wide serve. Like Swiatek was having to really guess on a lot of these first serves, particularly on break points down. And I thought she executed pretty well in the rallies as well. She kept Swiatek guessing. Overall she played a very good match until 5-all in the third set. That's when I thought okay, the inexperience and age finally caught up to her in that moment. Double faulted a couple of times, got a little bit frustrated at a miss, through her racket, kind of just lost a little bit of the composure that she had before. But then she did very well to get to break point on Iga's serve when Iga served for it at 6-5, and Iga came up with a good serve. And Iga did well also to regroup and right away raced to 3-love and 4-1 in the second set. So she's done well. You can clearly tell Cincinnati is not really the kind of court profile that she likes. She's not playing anywhere near her best, still kind of searching for that range, particularly controlling the forehand, and is a bit hard for her, particularly when it comes really fast and hard at her on these courts. So I think she's done well to make the semis here. I think Sabalenka is gonna be tough.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said earlier in the live chat for the previous show, if it is Iga Arena, I would expect Arena. I would favor Arena to win that one.
I think so too. Yeah, I'm
I-
leaning her.
partly due to conditions and partly due to it is her turn in the rivalry to win one.
Yeah, I think it's more important actually for Sabalenka to win tomorrow than it is for Iga.
Yeah, I'd say so, because Iga's kind of already kind of buried some demons that she needs to, and this was not a tournament she'd necessarily be targeting because she knows this is not a place she's strong. She's kind of got the US Open warm-up she needs, whereas Sabalenka has been losing unexpectedly early, so she kind of needs a big win. And she hasn't won a title since Australia, weirdly.
Yeah. Didn't look great in Washington. Didn't look that great last week, but I thought yesterday was a huge step up, and same with today. So she's kind of trending in the right direction, looking to peak at the US Open.
Someone else who is looking pretty good at the minute is Jannik Sinner, who's just receiving serve from Andrey Rublev, and gets the first point on the board with an incredible return.
Yeah. I think the main thing I'm going to be looking for with Sinner is like, how does he hold up physically this week? Obviously got the walkover, played a decentish first round against Alex Michelsen, who can be kind of tricky in his own way. But last week, of course, we saw coming back from the tonsillitis, coming back from being sick, like he couldn't quite handle like playing 5 sets in one day. Obviously with the 2 matches, and then I think by the time the 3rd set he was just completely gassed, clutching at his knee, and his hip seemed to be bothering him as well. So that was a little bit worrisome. But I think the walkover from yesterday maybe should help, and these conditions maybe slightly favor him. I'm still picking Sinner to win this match. I just kind of always have loved the matchup for him against Andrey, even before Sinner, let's say, puked in Beijing and he had this transformation. Like he always kind of had Andrey's number, because they're kind of very similar players, let's face it. But Sinner is just kind of more complete in every area. So I feel if they're both kind of firing, I still like Sinner's chances.
Yeah, I have more confidence in Sinner's weaponry, if that makes any sense. I mean, like Rublev has got some impressive weaponry of his own, but I think there's something about Sinner and the top players at the minute who can just change things up in a way that pretty much the rest of the field can't absorb. Whereas, for whatever reason, that doesn't seem to happen with Rublev, who is very metronomic, but I don't know what it is, like what that X factor is that isn't allowing him to make that extra step. Obviously, you would have talked about this on ATP Weekly. I don't know how many people, but I don't know if there's anyone in the chat. Like, I know we've got a new member, which is Conrad. Hello, Conrad. Met in the live chat earlier. Who may not have heard your thoughts on Rublev's maybe surprise loss in Canada, given he was heavy favorite to win it when the draw fell apart.
Yeah. So like the main thing for Rublev, what they kept talking about all week was just I'm trying to get better mentally. I'm trying to because that's kind of been the problem for him this year. That's why he's been so inconsistent. He's just sort of had those mental demons, where he's like lost control of his emotions on court in a pretty like self-destructive way. And so for him, it was all about like trying to better that and make sure that he's at least being easier on himself. And so once he got to the final, I think we saw some of those emotions like resurface again. But ultimately, I think it came down to Popyrin just being absolutely red hot, crushing Rublev's second serve, kind of taking the racket out of his hands, but also Rublev throwing in a couple of really bad, costly like service games. And I think that was kind of the whole match, because Rublev did start to play better in the second set, and he did like up his level a little bit. He got one of the breaks back, but then kind of threw in a shocking game after that. Hit 2 double faults in that game, and just like it slipped out of his fingers pretty quickly, and it was kind of too late by then. So I thought Popyrin was overall like just a better player. I was impressed by the way he was protecting his backhand side, how well he was moving. We obviously know about the serve and forehand, but there's something that really clicked for Popyrin last week in terms of his belief on a lot of those big points, and it definitely made him play a bit more with house money when he saved match points against Dimitrov, came out of all those tough situations. He kind of was able to deal with everything Rublev was throwing at him, and he He's a Masters 1000 champion. So,
I mean, there have been more surprising 1,000 champions in history. I mean, or maybe not. I think the only equivalent, maybe more surprising, would have been Chris Ridgeruff winning in Montreal in 1997, actually, because he was outside the top 100, I think, when he won that title. If anyone who remembers that match, please let us know. By the way, Rublev did hold to 15, and now he's got 15-30 on the Sinner serve. Sinner's been throwing in some unforced errors here.
yeah. This happened actually the last week when they played as well. Sinner got broken in his first service game, played a couple of those points, and then Andrey was able to hold his way through that set.
Let's see if we get a repeat or not. Sinner tried to sort of went for that forehand, goes cross court, gets the winner 30-all, and that's what we're talking about. Sinner's ability to just change things up when he needs it to, or find that ball he needs, that he can just go for it. It's interesting, really. Like, we knew he's always had the weaponry, he's had a good game, but I do feel like the confidence in using that weaponry has increased in the last 12 months.
Oh yeah, and he's also just become the serve has improved so much. Like he's missing a lot less from the ground. At least that period from Beijing to Miami was just kind of like some really, really vintage stuff from him, where he was just like, I was trying to figure out, like, what is he not good at right now, because he was kind of doing everything perfectly well on the hard courts, and then I think some physical niggles and a few tough losses, and now he's trying to get that back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was interestingly, I was thinking if Alcaraz won the Olympics, I think my line, had he won it, because I called the match with Djokovic, would have been Carlos Alcaraz has stolen away what should have been the year of Jannik Sinner. Whereas it's definitely not. Jannik Sinner's lost control of the season so far. And he's lost control of the season so far that he had, but he's still like the man everyone's talking about with Alcaraz.
Yeah, he's sort of had like the week-to-week consistency, because he's won over 90% of his matches, and he's been like, kind of the more like week in, week out reliable player. But Alcaraz has just had those really higher peaks, and he's won 2 slams, and he won the 2 matches against Sinner, and particularly the Roland Garros semifinal from 2 sets to 1 down. I think that really kind of changed things, because before coming into the Roland Garros, I mean, Sinner had like a 2,600 point lead, and it was like he was really in control of the number one. But then obviously things shifted with the Channel Slam, and then we're now here.
Yeah, sorry, I've to interrupt. We're in a break point and a backhand rally at the minute. Can Sinner not go down an early break here? Rublev does a very good job changing up the forehand cross court, forces the error. He's broken already. 2-love Rublev.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm assuming my head.
And this is a good play by Andrey, because I like when he's taking the backhand early, backhand cross, getting a good amount of depth, and then controlling with his forehand inside in, because I do think since Monte Carlo and since the clay season, if there's one area that I think I've seen Sinner struggle in, it's when he's moving out wide to his forehand side. He is sometimes a little bit more off balance, sometimes missing a little bit more in terms of his control on that wing, and maybe that has something to do with the hip. I'm not entirely sure, but that is something that Rublev should try to target.
I'm return Steph and Rublev to start things off. Right, I've been ignoring the live chat a little bit, but there's more less because we're just sort of starting the conversation a little bit. But I do want to make sure that everyone, you guys watching, are all part of the conversation as well. I don't see the point in going too far back, because I know we were talking about a few different points with this. But do you want to comment on your emotions about Cam Norrie withdrawing from the US Open, as Schwartz has put that in?
Yeah, no, he's had a tough time with the arm problem, so he's really basically been unable to really compete properly since Bustad, since losing to Rafa there. So that's I wasn't too surprised, because he'd been pulling out of all the lead ups, and yeah, he could really use kind of a reset. I mean, Wimbledon was a good tournament for him, but Wimbledon and the Australian Open, but he hasn't had like the kind of season up until this point that would have would have been super satisfactory for him, given where he was at 2 years ago and also for early part of last year. So yeah, maybe it could be a good thing. I'm hoping it's not too serious and he'll be back for the indoor swing.
Rublev motoring here at the minute, 40-15. Only point he's dropped has been a double fault, which he was giving us a sarcastic smile about. But yeah, still, you're right. Still possibilities for a reset for Norrie, but he's going to find it really hard to climb back to where he was, I think, with the way that the top 16 is locking down at the minute. Matthew saying he thinks that Tiafoe's got his mojo back. Let's wait and see. He's very hot and cold, but it's nice to see him playing some entertaining tennis in Cincinnati so far, as Rublev holds for 3-love. And then I know Brazy asked a question about 5 minutes ago about my thoughts on the Draper match point incident from last night. I mean, I woke up to it. The replays were all over my social media. I genuinely just want to move on from this conversation, to be honest.
I also don't really... I'm just not able to like muster the... Like, I haven't even tweeted about it because I don't know, like it's not really getting my juices flowing, you know, in the same way as like some of the other debates. Because I just think the bottom line is we just need to have video replay. Like I think that's the main thing. Like whatever side you fall on, I think we can all agree on that, right? Like it would be nice to have video replays and not have the umpire make judgment calls like this split second. I don't feel like railing on the umpire. I don't feel like railing on Draper. I just kind of want to move on and make sure we have, you know, I'll try to push for video replays, but like that's like about it. I know the US Open already has it, but yeah, it would be good if other tournaments had it too.
I think, yeah, there's like video replays are just needed for such a niche set of circumstances like that, but there will be a use for it. So I'm interested to see how well the US Open uses it. Yeah, that's all I'm really going to say on the subject. I genuinely do not find this an interesting conversation.
I'm already tired about it, talking about it, so we can move on.
I want to talk about the actual tennis that's happening on court. Apologies to anyone who does find it an interesting conversation in the chat. We're not necessarily dismissing the fact that you want to have a conversation about it. If there's any points you want to bring up, we'll see if we want to talk about it. But
I thought Felix handled himself really well. I will say that he was brilliant in terms of how he approached the umpire, how he dealt with the whole situation. He was all class.
We've got some Rublev love in the chat, as is to be expected. Very popular player. Sinner's going to be trying to hold here as his beloved Italian flag is fluttering. It's been very windy in Cincinnati, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's usually always pretty windy. I was there last year as well. It's usually have like 2 days of pretty bad rain, and then it's usually very windy. It's usually pretty hot, humid. Kind of the players really have to go through it all in Cincy, it feels like. And also this year the court is a little bit quicker.
Is this does that make this an actually very good preparation for the US Open, which will also be very similar gusty, humid conditions?
I think so. I mean, the outside, I think Ash plays very different to the outside courts, which is similar in Cincy as well. But Ash has that like roof dome hovering over it, so it kind of makes it more humid, even when the roof is like not closed. I think they said they were gonna. I think the CPI is a little bit higher this year for the US Open as well. But I wonder if Ash is a little bit slower than the other outside courts. Whereas here it almost feels like Stadium plays even quicker than some of the outside courts, based on what some of the players are saying. Of course, that's always hard to tell. But yeah, I think US Open also still will have a lot of the same variables with the humidity and also maybe potentially rain. And I'm not quite so sure about the wind, but I think everything else, yeah.
By the way, Sinner's in trouble again. Got a forehand winner from Rublev on the last point, which, however, Sinner's got an unreturnable serve, so he's going back to 30 all, but it's not a great start from Jannik right now.
Yeah. A little bit, he's not really been on it right now in terms of he's making a few unforced errors in that game that he got broken.
And like we're already starting to speculate about why. I mean, like obviously we've talked about his physicality. He's been struggling with that in recent months. I do think not playing the match against Thompson hasn't helped him because it probably kills his momentum. You see this time and again with players who have a walkover. Actually, about half the time, it doesn't help them in the following match because they lose so much sort of momentum and confidence from not having recently won, having a bit of a longer break.
Yeah, I must say he was really playing down his chances here in Cincinnati when he was doing like his pre-tournament press. He was like saying like how he's not at 100%. He hopes to be 100% by the U.S. Open. He just wants to get 2 matches in, or that's what he said. I just want to get a couple of matches in, see where I'm at. So
he has got the break. He has a help though, so good for him. He's got through that with a couple of nice easy points, and keep making sure forcing Rublev to have to maintain his advantage. So yeah, interesting topics I think going on. We've got interesting topics going on at the minute. What about with Sinner in the situation, whether sort of whether this is actually a bit of an open goal for Sinner in terms of that Alcaraz is in the draw, Djokovic isn't playing, or are we saying actually the other guys who are in it are going to be actually big threats to him? Like even if he gets to Rublev, he's got Shelton or name escapes me. Who's Shelton playing?
Yeah, or Zverev, who's going to be actually pretty tough. So I don't think it's like completely a lock. No, I don't think so at all. Especially given where Sinner is at right now, and then also just how weird these results have just generally been. You know, with the Olympics and just it feels much more wide open to me than like Sinner. Okay, like Sinner is a heavy favorite. So I kind of think it's still like. Yeah, we could see more surprises this tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we could do. I mean, Zverev, you're right, is a dangerous player, and actually he's going to be a factor. I mean, obviously, it really depends on his own head. I could see Shelton upsetting him. On the other hand, he could also kind of really neutralize a lot of Shelton's weapons.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough for Ben. Like I wouldn't be shocked if he won, you know, because of course Zverev can, you know, sometimes just open the door for players and get really tight during closing time and stuff like that, or maybe he can have some second serve issues like he did against Korda. But I do think, yeah, he should have an easier time returning Ben's serve than some of the other players.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Really good. Ghosty saying he feels bad for Monfils. Played. I kind of agree with him actually. Like after that win against Carlos, I was kind of felt bad that he had to then go out and play Rune after a couple of hours, and he acquitted himself pretty well in that match. At least judging by the score, I didn't actually watch the match, so if you did, please fill me in on it. But yeah, he had a good tournament.
Yeah, he was playing really well. Like
against Rune would have helped.
He won the first set, and then he also had chances in the third, and he didn't just completely go away either after Rune got the break. So he did hold up pretty well actually, given everything. And I also felt a little bit bad because yeah, when I saw the schedule that morning, I thought they would at least schedule it for the night, because the Monfils Alcaraz match, you could tell definitely still had at least a whole set to go, especially if Monfils seemed likely he was going to win the tiebreak anyway. So yeah, that was a bit brutal for them. Of course, they wanted to put Francis in the night session, so I'm sure like they had their own reasons for it or whatever. But I just yeah, they were back because he was back on court very quickly, because I think actually he would have had more time if Sinner and Thompson had played, but then Thompson withdrew, so then he ended up.
Were they also worried about rain?
Yeah, they had rain like the night before, and then they also had rain in the morning, so it started like an hour or two late. But then after that, like, you know, Sinner was supposed to play after Carlos Monfils, but you know that didn't end up happening, and so there was just like a break, and then Monfils was back again.
Yeah, I mean, Monfils did. I mean, overall, I still think Monfils had a very good tournament though, and I think he should be proud of the result, even if it was a kind of a tough turnaround to have to then deal with Holger Rune straight after that. As Sinner dumps a forehand into the net. But yeah, I think Monfils should still take a lot of positives out of it. I mean, What was the stat? Did you tweet the stat? I can't remember. Like second oldest man to beat a top 4 player, top 3 player.
Oh, really? Like ever? Really?
Ever. Apparently, only Rogers be older and done that.
Right. So he's the second oldest to be the top 4 player. Oh, okay.
Yeah, after Federer. That was. Someone you might need to find the tweet, but I'm pretty sure I saw that a stat like along those lines. I'm sure it was a top 3.
Okay. Yeah, interesting because he is older than Novak, so he will be 38 in September.
Yeah.
38
So yeah,
in
obviously,
September.
being older than Novak means he's gonna Novak could well blow that out the water next year.
Right.
Sinner getting up to 30-15. I mean, we're not doing a lot of point by point here because they're very quick points at the moment. There's not a lot of super long rallies going on, and Sinner's not quite near top gear yet.
No. And yeah, this is also a little bit tougher conditions. Than I guess he played against Mickelson during the day, and Rublev's just kind of had more matches as of late. He's been more in form, with Washington, and then all the matches last week, and then also here, and he's just kind of. I think it paid off for him not to go to the Olympics. Interesting. He actually opted not to play the Olympics because he didn't feel right mentally. So it was not actually because of the surface change or anything. At least that's what he cited.
Interesting. Mind you, a lot of Russian players missed the Olympics.
Yeah. Because they had to play as neutral.
Yeah. Sinner gets a backhand winner from mid-court, 40-30. But I just saw a stat show up that Sinner's hit 9 unforced errors, which is not a great rate for him. But Andrey Rublev's also hit 2, which is a really, really good rate for him.
Yeah, he's sort of just playing pretty controlled and within himself right now, not really having to press too much.
Yeah,
Sabalenka is through, by the way, fairly comfortably. Samsonova did have a 2-1 head-to-head actually coming into this match, including a win last year in Canada.
Yeah, wanted to just let us know that in the chat. Yeah, I was wondering whether Samsonova would be causing Sabalenka problems. Yeah, that was a very good. It's a good result for Sabalenka, and I don't think she's dropped a set this tournament. She is looking very, very strong in Cincinnati. She's been gradually growing stronger over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, she had some tight moments, I think, yesterday when she was serving out the set for the first time, but then she was able to run away with it, saved some break points against Cocciaretto, but overall the level has been a lot better than DC and Toronto.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, we're into it right here, and since Reham just scoop a low ball up, goes for the forehand line. Rublev is there, puts the forehand into the net. So advantage to Sinner. We have got. I've got question. I don't see. I've got questions in the chat about my stance on Peyton Stearns. So, I want to see if Sinner can get through this game first before I answer that. Forehand cross court from Sinner. Rublev tries to run it down, can't do it. Struggling to see the ball a bit, but it is clear that Sinner has won that game. It's 2-4. Yeah, big fan of Peyton Stearns. I really like. I think when she's on, she's brilliant to watch, and she's absolute box office. She showed that in Indian Wells and Miami earlier this year. That title run she had on clay just before the French Open was insane, and just one of the highlights of the season. There's insane comebacks in both matches. Thoroughly deserved that title, and I don't think she shows up as regularly as I would like in terms of her top level. But when it does, I really hope that she's playing a top player, because then you get real fireworks.
Yeah, she's definitely a big stage, big match kind of player who really brings the fire and brings that competitive drive. She's really fun to watch. If you ever get a chance to go see her in in person. Like I love the way she competes. Her attitude for every point is so great. Her forehand, like how heavy she hits it. It reminds me of Jennifer Brady's actually, and that it makes sense why she had a good results on clay, because it's just such a heavy shot when she unloads on it. She's very versatile with it as well. Her forehand is really a world class weapon. The rest of her game, I think, as well. She's such a good athlete. She moves really well. I like the kick serve. I think the backhand can get a little bit stronger, but which is actually not, it's usually the other way around sometimes for a lot of WTA players. So their backhand drives are a little bit better, and their forehand sometimes is kind of the make or break. But in this case, yeah, I mean, anytime Peyton Stearns gets a look at the forehand from the ad side or from anywhere on the court, and she has time on the ball, you're kind of toast. So I like the way also she played against Azarenka in Miami and Sabalenka in Indian Wells. That's one of the matches of the year for sure.
Yeah. I remember. I think I woke up to like a load of hype around both of those matches. Rublev in a bit of trouble now. He's hit an unreturnable serve to get to 30 all, but he was at 15-30.
Yeah.
So you're keeping an eye on him.
I think he just double faulted.
What for 30-40?
Yeah, 30 all now is where I'm at.
Okay, yeah, I'm at 30 all as well. Rublev abandons the ball toss. First serve, body serve, forehand, Sinner, backhand, cross court from Rublev. Cross court backhand from Sinner is wide, and Rublev has 40-30. Yeah, interesting. I didn't realize
another routine miss from Sinner.
Sorry, what?
Neutral rally ball. He was in the point, but he just missed it.
Yeah, it's not something you'd expect from Jannik, is it? It's a little odd. Even before the puking, he didn't really used to do that very often. Deuce as Rublev double faults again. He's going to be careful here. He doesn't give back the advantage.
Yeah, that's 2 this game. Yeah, he's got to be a little bit careful here. He doesn't boil over.
Yeah, which is obviously a risk for Rublev. See how he gets on here. Sinner gets the return in play. Backhand Rublev short. Slice from Sinner is long. We've got advantage Rublev. Yeah, I'll maybe come back to the chat, see if Rublev can get through this game. Should be able to. But it's tough with Sinner. Great serve from Rublev, but the Sinner return is long, and 5-2 Rublev.
Yeah.
Seeing the chat, I didn't realize that Peyton Stearns was working with Tom Hill, so that's good information, Matthew. And Nerlan, I do think that Katie Vinetz is an underappreciated player, to be honest.
Yeah, I remember watching her beat Mira Andreeva in Indian Wells and just being like, she has really good like rally tolerance, gets a lot of balls back. She doesn't really have like a major weapon, but she's very like steady and consistent, and she makes you beat her. So,
speaking of consistency, I want to bring it back to the match we're watching now, because Rublev is leading 5-2. Sinner's coming out to serve to stay.
That was a bit of a head scratcher for Sinner, because as far as his return game and as far as what we know he's capable of, he just got 2 double faults there and a couple of errors, and he still kind of wasn't able to get to break point. So that's, it's not been a good match so far from Sinner's end.
He is a bit below par today, isn't he?
Yeah. Maybe that's the walkover. Maybe that's recovering from all the sickness. Maybe it's the lack of confidence match play just in the last couple of months post Wimbledon. Could be all of those things. But we'll see. He still has time in this match.
Yeah, I've got. By the way, seeing some updates on my screen. So obviously, I've seen the Sabalenka match point. Ivan Dodig and Jamie Murray are in the final in the doubles. They beat Feet and Jarry.
I think Jamie was in the final of the doubles last year as well. He lost a really tight tiebreak, third set tiebreak.
A lot of doubles matches this Cincinnati have been. I think every time I've checked the double scores, 90% of them seem to have gone to match tie breaks in the men's and the women's.
Yeah, Sounds right.
particularly the men's.
Are
Also,
they in the final or the semis? Should be the
sure
semis,
it's the
right?
final. Wasn't they? What they playing the semi-finals?
It's only
today?
Saturday, so it should be. I can check actually. I think.
Oh yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it's the quarters because the women's semi. It's the women's doubles semi-finals today. It's the quarterfinals tomorrow.
Yeah, so they're in the semis and they're taking on Aravalo and Pavic.
Sorry, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's the women's semi-finals that are happening today, and like both those semi-finals, I'm interested in seeing how they go. Agree with you, Schwarner. Most WTA players are underappreciated because everyone only cares about whether you can win Grand Slams. Matthew, yeah, I would hope that Sinner switches up in the second set. I mean, that's what happened in Montreal, right, Vanch?
Yes, he just started serving way better, and he got it was a more controlled conditions than here today, which definitely helped. And he just started playing more, percentage tennis where he was just locked in, and he honestly just started playing like old Sinner in that second set. Like there was, he was able to turn it on, but then the minute he won that second set, and he lost a really tight game in the third, his legs just completely went away. So.
Yeah,
it was also his second match of the day, so that and he hadn't started the first one. So
I know that there was a lot of rumors swirling around he might withdraw from Montreal because of the way the schedule ended up getting a bit crazy. But I think he ended up withdrawing for the doubles rather than the singles. But I think I saw a thing like a clickbaity title suggesting
he played doubles with Draper, I think, right? Yeah,
it was Draper. Yeah, I was very excited about that partnership, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, since put 400 into the net, trying to close the game out.
Oh yeah, Leila Fernandez is in the quarterfinals, and she's taking on Pegula today. It's a good match.
Yeah, Braces asked me who I've got. I genuinely don't know because I think Leila was kind of fortunate to get through the Rybakina match. But
yeah, I think so too.
But she was really, really good against Diana Schneider.
Yeah, I didn't see the Schneider match at all. So
I watched kind of the end of it because I couldn't sleep. The Schneider match, she was really good. I think Pegula's back on a roll, and I don't want to go. Every time I seem to go big on Fernandez, like, oh, maybe she's going to do something. She didn't quite do it, so I may have to go with Pegula as well.
Yeah, I'm also leading Pegula. She is looking really good right now.
Yeah. But so we'll have to see. Like, with JPEG, she seems to have got her season back on track, which is good to see. And I was going to say the same thing about Rublev, who again gets a long ball from Sinner to go to 15 love, trying to serve this set out. I mean, obviously it depends on how this goes, but Rublev, I would say, is trying to show that Madrid wasn't a blip in an awful season. Certainly back-to-back deep runs in Montreal and Cincinnati have helped him kind of, I think, show he's back on track.
Yeah, he's more like the kind of player who's doing like quarterfinals every week rather than like, one deep run and then a bunch of early losses and then another deep run. So that's what's been a little bit uncharacteristic, but he's kind of still at the same place in the rankings he would be otherwise, right? Like he's like 7th or 8th in the race.
Yeah.
So with those two results, he also made an Australian Open quarterfinal at the start of the year. And then he also won Hong Kong. So, and then it was looking pretty good for him until Dubai. But then after that, of course, after that incident,
which was the incident, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then nothing until Madrid, and then early loss at the French as well in the third round, and then first round loss at Wimbledon. So then he also played the clay tournaments leading after Wimbledon. He didn't do great in those 250s, and then and then he lost to Tiafoe in Washington in the quarters. So he got a couple of wins, and then Francis night session, home crowd kind of just was able to take control of that match.
30-15 Rublev, short second serve. Sinner gets a racket right, backhand to the backhand. Sinner's gone on the line. Rublev's going to tee up for a forehand up the line. Sinner's keeps going to the Rublev forehand. So again, going line with his backhand. Rublev nets with the forehand 30 all.
That was a little bit better from Sinner.
Yeah, I was interesting. Keeps going back behind Rublev, just forcing him to stay in the forehand corner, really, which is interesting. Clearly, he thinks that trying to kind of stay there, wrong foot Rublev a little bit, maybe feeling like he's eventually going to get an error from a forehand.
Yeah, I think he's like trying to attack the strength so then he can open up space to go to the weakness. But also the Tennis Insights just put up something about the forehand shot quality, and you have Rublev who's at a 9 on the forehand, which is really good, and then Sinner's at 4.5, which is very, very, very low for him.
Yeah, so it's interesting that he feels confident going to the Rublev forehand at the minute, but then since just gone along with the backhand, we have set point. I mean, at the minute, the backhand of Sinner's not really being super reliable right now. Rublev's just able to pepper it.
Yeah.
Yeah, wide from Rublev trying to get this serve this set out. Sinner attacks the backhand. The Rublev shanks the forehand. Well out. Juice. I'm seeing lots of Danielle Collins chat, which I do want to talk about, but I think we need to focus on the match. Got a comment from X. I've never thought of the Rublev Sinner backhands being weird, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Sinner's is more conventional than Rublev's. Rublev's is more of a kind of a bunt.
But it works for him. I mean, he's a pretty consistent shot. As Rublev's gone long.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Sinner. Yeah, I mean, bunt suggests it's underpowered.
Whoa. No, I mean, let me rephrase that. Like, it's kind of a short take back, but he's able to use it pretty well to, like, to absorb pace, because he kind of needs that backhand cross to work really well for him. And then, you know, when he gets the forehand that he's looking for, then he can be really dangerous. And I've also seen him sometimes go big down the line with it, so he can create his own pace with it as well. But it's like more of just kind of a reliable trade for him, rather than a like.
Oh, net cord from Sinner. Rublev just going to get it over. Sinner's going to try and put it away, but it's not up. It's not up. Sinner's broken back. That is a fortunately timed net cord that helps Jannik Sinner get back in this set.
Yeah.
But I did know what you mean about the backhand thing. Like when you said bunt, it's like, yeah, no, I mean, like, I suppose. Actually, no, I didn't really. I think that's a good explanation that you've given, because I wasn't thinking. I was thinking like a sort of a constricted swing. But you're right. It's more about the take back. I'm just gonna. This jump is irritating me. Right.
Rublev will be a
Serious,
little frustrated about that, but honestly, Sinner did something good in that, which is he started going more backhand line in this game, and just kind of found a little bit better range. Was able to stay in the rallies a little bit longer at least, because before this he was kind of missing before Rublev even like had the chance to. So he was losing the consistency battle, but now he's more or less back on track. We'll see how the rest of the set goes.
Yeah, it's back on. I mean, like you would think that Sinner should be able to lock it down now. He did manage to break back in set 1 of the Canada match. So this is already going pretty well.
Oh, Nurlan asked me, how vicious is your forehand? On a scale of 1 to 10, I don't know, maybe like a 7.
Was your forehand your main weapon?
Kind of, yeah. It's definitely my main weapon, I would say.
Like most people. Mind you, having said that, you're the old person who's good on the backhand, better on the backhand.
Yeah.
Sinner's already miscued a forehand, so clearly he needs to learn some lessons from Vanch. Love 15. Yeah, lots of. Okay. Do you know what? We have loads of footage of John John playing tennis and Damien playing tennis. There's not enough footage of you playing tennis, Vanch.
Yeah, I haven't been playing that much tennis actually lately. I had a little bit of a knee problem the last time I played, and so I'm a bit
Oh, shame.
kind of scared to go back into it, but I will at some point.
Oh, that was not scared. Sinner wasn't scared there to hit that forehand up the line. Clean winner, 15 all. Yeah, it's not nice when you feel like, you know, you're worried about aggravating something when you go out on court. I've been there. I need to get back. I haven't played for a couple of weeks. I'm going to get better if I don't play.
That's probably the best forehand Sinner has hit so far.
Yeah, great forced error from Rublev, forcing the error there for 15-30. Might be able to still rescue this set. Does feel like Rublev's very much in every Jannik service game at the minute.
Yeah.
Okay, 15-30. First serve wide. I'm loving all the Althea Gibson facts from Ghosty. Backhand from Sinner's wild and out. 2 set points for Rublev. He had 1 on his serve. Can he close these ones out on the Sinner serve? How's your forehand there, Lan?
I mean, Sinner is looking really off balance on some of these ground strokes, isn't he? You know, sometimes he's getting pushed back by Rublev's pace. Other times he's kind of not able to quite center himself. It's probably very windy, and he's serving on the side, which is against the wind. But yeah, it's making it hard for him to hold.
Double fault. Double fault. Jannik Sinner set 1 Rublev 6-4.
Wow.
Which is timing for the question from the producer, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, Vanch, because I've not noticed any difference with it. But how Sinner's serve compared to the first half of the year?
Well, I think also the first half of the year was just so on point. It was just so precise. He was with the pinpoint stance, he was just constantly delivering. Even on second serves, he was going a bit bigger. I think here, though, we're seeing with a little bit more variables, it is a little bit tougher for him to kind of get that same effect. But I think I don't think it's really like his service changed that much. It's more just his general confidence, I think, which is bleeding into the serve. So I don't think it's like like his serve has suddenly declined. It's more just kind of the general overall state of his game right now is a bit. He's still trying to get it back. He was serving really well at Wimbledon as well, by the way, I should point out, especially against Berrettini, in those tie breaks, and also just throughout. Like even in the Medvedev match, he was serving really well. So I think this is just more of a general confidence and health thing right now with Sinner. I mean, he only made 48% of his first serves, which is really, really low. And Rublev was winning 57% of his second serve points, and that's usually the good benchmark for Rublev. If he's above 50%, that's the weakest part of his game. The second serve, I would say. So,
but it doesn't feel like he has to do much with the second serve to make, because Sinner is missing a lot of returns.
Yeah, he's missing a ton. Not getting that many back in play either, and also just when he's in the rally as well, he's missing, because second serve also means you're playing more rallies, and right now Rublev is winning more rallies.
Looks like Pegula and Fernandez are underway, by the way. I'm seeing that on my screen. Both have held serve, or both 1-1 to start with in this match. But Sinner needs to pick things up and look more like himself and do what he did in the second set in Montreal. Otherwise, it's going to be back-to-back losses to Andrey Rublev in 1,000 quarterfinals on American hard courts. And then there's going to be some serious questions about him going into this US Open. Because I think number 1's going to be on the table at the US Open, isn't it? Not for Djokovic. I think Djokovic can do it because he's defending big points.
Yes, I think Sinner is ahead now by like 650. Because Alcaraz obviously lost early and Sinner picked up 200 last week. It was He was at 4, so that's 450 plus 200 here, so 650. But and Alcaraz only gets 10, so actually 640 points ahead the race. So I mean, if he does 1 round or 2 rounds better than Sinner, then he'll have the edge there. But
yeah, I think isn't it like Alcaraz wins the US Open, he's back in front.
yeah,
Gets number one.
he'll be back in front no matter what. But I mean, maybe Sinner gets to the final here and he turns this match around, then he'll have a little bit of a cushion because
very much lock in. Not locked in is Andrey Rublev, who puts a forehand very wide into the tram lines. And, well, now we're into a situation where Rublev seems to have suddenly gone off the boil very early in the second set. Has love 40.
yeah.
Both players on 100% break points won. Rublev's going to want to avoid that. Backhand from Sinner cross court right to the Rublev forehand. He goes inside out, well to inside out. He concedes that game to Love. Sinner's already got the early break in the second set, and both players on 100% break point conversion still.
Weird. Yeah, actually, Sinner really didn't have to do that much in this game. It's
I mean, he'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So already, clearly the talking tennis community still very much believes in Sinner winning this match, and whether he can turn this around. He's done it before. Let's see how he gets on here. Great serve from Sinner to start off. 15 love. Interesting. Sean doesn't think that Djokovic cares about the #1 ranking anymore. I think at this point, it's hard to know what Djokovic is going to care about. He's got the Olympics. At this point, he's kind of probably playing for pride to prove that he can still keep up with the younger guys.
Yeah, I don't think he's the #1 is really on his mind at all. He has 8-year #1s and like over 400 something weeks, and he's not playing nearly enough of a schedule to really kind of go for it even. But yeah, like right now, I mean, like to be fair, like at the minute, like no one else is really beating him in majors except for Sinner and Alcaraz. So if that keeps continuing, I mean, he's gonna keep playing.
That's a fair point. So yeah, he's, at the minute, yeah, it's, until he stops competing with.
And he's also at 99 career titles, by the way. So I'm sure he'd like to get to 100, and then Federer's at 103.
That's
you know,
true.
Of course, the Connors record 109, but that still seems pretty far away.
Ghosty having #1 ranking still valuable for draws. I mean, yeah, but as the current state of players, because there's Sinner and Alcaraz in the mix, I think being top 4 would be enough to still give you a very good draw.
Yeah, I think so. I think as well, like with that loss, Sinner is now Alcaraz will be seated 3rd. Interestingly, if Zverev wins the title, then he'll be at #2. He'll be the #2 seed. Djokovic will be the 3rd seed. Alcaraz will be the 4th seed.
And yet again, that's the kind of weirdness of the tennis ranking system, which ultimately rewards consistency over winning big titles. If you win the odd big title, but you can't get results anywhere else, you're not going to get ranked high enough. And speaking of not getting results, Sinner's turn to hit a very wayward inside-out forehand, and suddenly Rublev's got break-back point in the set.
Yeah.
15-40. Sinner served at the
tee. He's really struggled with this match. These like mid-court deep balls.
Oof.
Like he's not really getting around them quick enough.
Sinner goes for the overhead. It was a very low overhead, looked very awkward, but he gets the winner off it, 40-30. I think the wind caught it a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the first break point saved in this match.
Yeah.
Will break points saved become the crucial metric here? One from Vanch's Tennis One app summaries. Great set. Unfortunately, the first serve from Sinners doesn't count. It's the second serve. There we go. Cross forehand to the forehand of Rublev. Backhand Sinner into the net. And Rublev's broken back. 1-1.
Wow.
There we go. So we're back on serve. Yeah, weird game that from Sinner. Not a great start for either player this set.
No. Yeah, this match has been a kind of a tough watch from Sinner's perspective, and then also I don't feel like Rublev's really had to do like play anywhere like above his normal level so far.
I guess that's the thing with Rublev is his normal level is it's not all-time. It's not a GOAT level, but it's good enough that if the top guys are slightly off their game, he's right there with them.
Yeah,
and that's where a lot of the success comes from.
He will be there to take advantage if you're off your game for sure.
Brazy asking which slam Rublev has the best chance of winning. I mean, first of all, which slams do you have the best chance of beating the top 3 at 4-5? Because he doesn't have a great record against any of the current top 5.
Right now he's like 0 for 10 in slam quarterfinals, so he needs to get to a semi-final first. Who do you think is more likely to get to a semi though? Pegula or Rublev? I still think Pegula.
Same.
Yeah. I also think with Pegula, the first 4 losses that she had were against 2 of them were against Iga in 2022. One was against Barty, and the first one she wasn't really expected to win against Brady. So it's really only like the last 2 where maybe there's some scar tissue with the Vondrousova one, but of course Vondrousova did go on to win the whole tournament, and she played really well after 4-1 in the third, and the roof closed as well, which kind of derailed her momentum. So I kind of think it's a little bit more overblown with Pegula.
Yeah, I think Pegula, you could point to examples where she's beaten the best of the world. And I'm not saying you can't with Rublev, because Rublev's beaten Djokovic in Belgrade.
They both have good wins outside of the majors. To be fair, like in 1000s.
They do. I think Pegula's won the titles.
Her titles are impressive. Like the 3 1000s that she had, she's beaten really good players in all 3.
And like Rublev's won 2, but he's also had near misses for another couple. And the 2 that he won, I think his toughest test was Holger Rune.
Yeah, Holger Rune in the final, who had the big lead and then struggled physically, and then also the Alcaraz one in Madrid, with Alcaraz's arm. I guess also the weird tournament with all the retirements.
I don't want to be too dismissive of Brazy's question. I think out of the slams, if he did have a run, I think the US Open would be the most likely place for it.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I think that's probably his most consistent slam. If I look at the win percentage as well, like he's made the most quarterfinals there, and I think the match against Tiafoe and the 2 for him was like the Tiafoe and Cilic matches. Those were well, I guess on paper he was not the underdog in those. But Cilic just peaked out of his mind in that 5th set tiebreak in the French Open, and then at the US Open that was peak Tiafoe, but Rublev couldn't get a set there, so he lost both the tiebreaks and 6-4 in the third. Yeah, Pegula, I think also she's not playing any more doubles or mixed, so she can really go all in on the singles, which I think in all 3 disciplines is pretty hard for anybody, especially because Pegula tends to go so deep in doubles and mixed usually.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can maybe affect your singles without even realizing it. So.
Yeah, I got the sense that Pegula likes to stay warm, which is why she was doing all of it. Like it was a way of keeping her kind of focused. And I guess now she's not doing it, and she's kind of showing that she doesn't need that. So
also she's more fresh than a lot of these other players because she missed the entire clay swing, and she had the injuries earlier on with her neck and stuff. So I get the feeling like she's because she's bounced back really well after Mukova is a really tough opponent, and she came back from a set down, beat her, played really good, and then played really good in the next round.
Brazy, are you watching the Pegula Fernandez match? Because you're kind of making comments about Fernandez's forehand. So if you are, great. For those who are watching and don't know the score, it's currently 2 games all between Pegula and Fernandez. 30 all in the Fernandez serve. Ghosty, is your question to Vaj about Cincinnati or the US Open? Just to clarify. Long rally as Rublev nets a backhand. It's 30 love in this game to Sinner.
We have the draw. I think I was a little surprised though with Pegula's loss at Wimbledon. I think that's probably the one loss that really kind of stands out in the stretch. Wang Xinyu in the second round after she won the second set. I really kind of thought she had that one. So that was definitely disappointing for her because she won Madrid and a lot of people had her going pretty far. I think maybe if she'd gotten through that match, maybe maybe she got over that quarterfinal. We'll never know, but yeah, she's gonna want to not have that happen at the Open.
Oh, was that Rublev going for a shot? Yeah, Rublev overdoing the forehand, the backhand return. It's game to Sinner. 2-all. And this set already feels a little bit more tightly balanced compared to the first, where the first was very much about a question of can Rublev hold on and Sinner making a lot of errors. Here we've got both guys. It seems they seem a bit more in control at the minute, and obviously we've had those exchange of breaks at the start, but it's already hard to call which way the set's going. Oh, maybe not. Jannik going for a mega forehand and gets a clean win out the line, love 15. On the other hand, maybe Sinner's starting to work this match in his favour. What's going on here? 15-all. All right, still into a rally now. Sinner drags the backhand wide. Yeah, 15-all. So still a little behind the scoreboard. I gotta fix that. Not really. So yeah, big game this one for Rublev, trying to kind of maintain things a bit. He went off the ball in the opening game. Oh, Sinner drags the forehand wide, 30-15. 15-30. No, it was actually a clean winner from Sinner. Again, ball kind of working against me here with kind of being able to see things.
Looks like I'm a point behind you. I will try to refresh this.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, that was a good forehand by Sinner. Maybe his best of the set, but
yeah, interestingly, I think the previous. I don't think it matters too much what the scores produce. So it's the same. We're into a rally here between Rublev and Sinner. Sinner's dragged the forehand wide, and it's 30-all. Yeah, it's yeah, I think with this situation, looking at it, it's going to be down to who stays consistent, really. Because if Andrey can do that, then great, he's going to stay with Sinner. If not, Sinner's going to get some confidence and work his way back in.
Yeah, to me, this match is still all about Sinner. Like, if Sinner elevates and plays his best tennis, like, he should come through it, right? But it's just he's not been able to find it so far.
Pegula breaks Fernandez for 3-2 in the first set. And Sinner set up a break point of his own here for 30-40 as the backhand from Rublev hits the net. Very, very tough situation here in Cincinnati for Andrey Rublev, still trying to keep up with Jannik Sinner. And we saw this in Montreal as well, where he couldn't, where Sinner comes back at him in the second set. The challenge is whether Sinner could, if Sinner does make it a third, can he rewrite history? He's got to get this break first. Both guys have been very good at converting break points so far this match. Let's see if the same thing can happen. Rublev keeps abandoning the serve. keeps abandoning the serve. I think the wind's bad, but that's a great serve when he does hit it, and he saves it, and it's deuce.
If this was Brad Gilbert, he would say this is a double fault already because already cut the ball to us twice.
He's very harsh with these things, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't go so far as to make it a fault because I don't think it happens that often that it annoys me. But that was one of the questions I asked him about if he wanted to, change some things in tennis. He immediately cited that one.
Apparently, they didn't introduce second serves into tennis until the 1930s.
Mm.
So it's not actually been it's not part of the original game. So imagine only having one serve. I think it would be chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Most points wouldn't even happen. First, Sinner's going inside out, trying to pepper the Rublev backhand, change the direction with the forehand now, and Rublev can't cope with the change of direction, and the forehand goes into the tramline. Advantage Sinner. He's got another chance here. Loving the, by the way, I have to say, absolutely loving the atmosphere that Cincinnati brings. It seems to be one big tennis party. Advantage Sinner. Served out wide. Sinner's going to get it back in. Rublev going to step into the net to finish. Oh! He didn't need it to be that good, but it does just clip the line. It's deuce.
Yeah, that was a little too close, but he got it done. Okay, he's found a couple of good first serves down break point.
Yeah, he's kind of clutch when he needs it to. Not there, though. That first serve was very wide. Big moments for Andrey Rublev. He needs to try and get himself out of this game. Abandons the ball toss again. Brad Gilbert already screaming double fault. Second serve, short. Backhand from Sinner into the net. It was awkward for Sinner to pick up, and Sinner puts it into the net. Advantage Rublev, as the wind definitely played a part in that point.
Yeah, I just couldn't get out of the way.
It was kind of not only out the way, it was too close and above his shoulder. It was just a nightmare to pick off. Winter ran out. Oh, what a shot from Sinner.
This is a really bouncy court as well, so when you do catch it late, it gets above your shoulder.
I do say what a shot. He was grinning about it, but he did miss it. But
he missed
really
it. He missed it
went
wide,
for the haymaker.
He missed it wide. He's been having more success this set with the inside-out forehand. Going back behind Rublev sometimes, like we saw in the point before the break point, and I think that's a little bit better. But so far, he also kind of made a mess of the game after he broke, and he also made a mess of the 4-5 game in the first set. So those are maybe my two biggest surprises actually of the match. Is like once Sinner broke back for 4-5. I thought for sure the set was going to get extended. It would go to a tie break, but then Sinner threw in one sloppy game, and then he also threw in another one when he went up a break in the second. So,
yeah. Well, let's see what we can do. Like he seems to be a bit more into the set, and maybe he might eventually break Rublev, but he needs to maintain this level. Have you been to Cincinnati before, Vanch?
Yeah, I was there the whole time last year. Not for tennis, but I was working for a company called Delta Trade. We're doing the stats for tennis TV.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, because like I've been watching it this year, and I don't think I've ever noticed this from previous years, but like the amount of like the fact that all the music seems to carry over and everything's always super, like everyone's always seemed to be super pumped to be there. Yeah, I think they do very much hype up how big a tournament they are.
Oh yeah, I mean the tournament is really, really good. It's kind of like the main thing in the city because it's actually not in Cincinnati, it's in Mason, which is 22 miles away from Cincinnati, but there's like nothing else to do there besides the tournament. Like
bit like Indian Wells.
A bit, yeah. I guess Palm Springs you do have like some more golf, you have some resorts. It's like a very like sort of high-end rich people place. Whereas Cincinnati is kind of middle of nowhere, Midwest, a lot of farmland, and then out of the blue you have this tennis tournament. So it's like actually like it's really its own isolated thing, and that makes it really special because everyone who's there is literally just there for the tennis that week. And also the stadium is not too big, so even if you're sitting pretty high up, you have a pretty good angle of everything. Um, they've added like some more practice courts. Like they're going to be expanding the tournament, so it'll be even more because of the 96 player draws on both men's and women's side next year. It'll be a little bit different, but yeah, it's a good tournament.
Yeah, it does feel like that Cincinnati has a lot of capacity.
It's close, ghosty, but there's nothing to do in Mason. Like there's literally nothing to do. It's a very small town, and it's like proper Cincinnati does have more things. Like they have.
Sorry, no, I meant the tournament, not the city.
Yeah. Oh, I'm responding to Ghosty in the comments.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, like I mean, around the area, obviously there's stuff to do, but I'm just talking about the main city where the tournament is held.
Obviously, there's way more to do in San Diego, though.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, we are like the best city in the world. Obviously, I'm just I'm biased, but yeah, I mean we have beautiful beaches, the beautiful weather. We have a lot of attractions. There's one place that I didn't get to go in Cincinnati that I really wanted to go, which is the Kings Canyon roller coaster. I love roller coasters. I'm a big amusement park person, so I would have loved to go there for a day, but I just didn't have time.
Says how to love new balls 3-all in the second set, and I'm sorry guys, we seem to have lost our score.
Yeah, that was maybe the center's most clean service game all match. Did you say?
Yeah, I'd say so far. I don't have a lot to really critique about it.
When I was talking about the natural beauty, yeah, the natural beauty near Indian Wells is really great. Like you have the mountain drop in the background, and you have like beautiful desert. Like it's the views are pretty good. It's not quite Monte Carlo good. Like I would say that's still better in terms of in fact in terms of tournaments I really want to go to. That's like really high up on my list, probably number 1 or 2.
Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
You like yourself a sea view.
Yeah.
Just checking. Can everyone see the screen okay? Yeah, it should be all right. Now, but yeah, so hopefully we're all up and running with that. Yeah, 15-all. We're into a rally at the minute. Sinner's going to go for the inside-out forehand again. He's trying to work this match back in his favor. And Rublev shanks the forehand 15-13. Another opportunity for Jannik Sinner.
Ooh, yeah.
I do agree. Like, I love the Monte Carlo backdrop. I think it is really cool to see. It must be nice to like look from the stands and see it when the tennis isn't happening. Indian Wells Desert does look spectacular as well.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Ghostie's mentioning the mountains of Gstaad and Kitzbühel, actually. Great tennis backdrops. Forehand wide from Rublev, 15-40. He's got to dig himself out of trouble again.
Yeah, a bit of a loose point. I mean, Sinner played a good point to go up 15-30 on Rublev's serve. So now Rublev feeling the pressure here with 2 break points. See if he can save them.
Though.
Yeah, he did well to save them in the last game. So that's 3 first serves that he's made in this set down break point after they exchange breaks.
Doing pretty well so far. Right, let's go. Second break point to save, and it's an ace from Rublev.
Oh, well done.
Doing so well.
I still think Rublev's best performance of his career came in Cincinnati. Most clean performance from start to finish, where he just blew an all-time great off the court. Do you remember that?
What year was it?
2019.
Was that Roger?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I don't remember the match, to be honest, but Yeah, I suppose that was when Rublev was still very hyped and probably playing without fear at that point. The
Yeah,
younger
he was
player.
just playing on fire that day. But also, Roger coming, but like it wasn't anywhere near Roger's best. Obviously, coming from a little bit of a Wimbledon hangover as well, and not quite doing as well on the return and serve. But he, nonetheless, like Rublev really beat him pretty badly in like an hour.
Yeah, obviously that was a big. Rublev's beaten Rafa as well, hasn't he?
He has, yeah, Monte Carlo in 2021, and
That was
also
it.
in that was good. But I will say that Rafa was really poor that match. That I just yeah, he was just really poor. Like it reminded me of 2015 at all. And then also the Djokovic match in Belgrade. I mean, Djokovic just was so gassed in the third set that yeah, I actually thought the Federer win was so clean from first point to the last.
Hi, Dave. Good to see you. Sorry, I just had to mute the producer. I think I can't comment. Like I'm gonna take you your word because you're usually a pretty good judge of these things. I don't think I've ever seen that Rublev win over Federer. What about the Djokovic? How many times has Rublev beaten Djokovic? Is it just the once in Belgrade when they played?
In Belgrade, yeah.
Djokovic wasn't himself in that match, but
no,
Rublev did all right, I thought.
Oh, he did very well, but yeah, like Djokovic comes back, wins the second set in a tiebreak. I was actually very impressed by Rublev in the second set, more so than the third set, even though he bageled Djokovic in the third, which is crazy to say. But yeah, once Djokovic came back, he just like hit a wall completely physically, and kind of just let that set go because he had played all three setters that whole week, and he was obviously he'd missed all that tennis because of the deportation thing, and then only played Dubai afterwards and didn't play any.
And Rublev is probably the worst possible player to deal with in those kind of circumstances, right?
Probably, yeah, because he's just gonna just play his usual consistent level, and yeah, if you're that off, he'll beat you.
Speaking of off, Jannik says at love 30. Rublev chases down a drop shot and puts it away, and Sinner's passing shot is wide.
Wow, yeah. I would say I give Rublev so much credit for the breakpoints that he saved in the last couple of service games. He really came up with some big serves and saved all of them. Which, I mean, like the serve is the one thing you can control in tennis, or at least you have the most amount of control over. And when he's needed it, he's brought it on the first serve. So.
Right, Cancer digging himself out of trouble here. Because Rublev's been clutch break points down. Needs to do the same. That chord from Rublev. Senna's going to come in and take on the backhand. Now he's having to defend at the net. He's got an overhead. Puts it away. 15-30. It was a little bit. I think Rublev didn't quite take his opportunity to pass Sinner when he was like mid-court. He could have gone the cross court. Sinner was kind of there to put the block back volley in. And then that just left it up to Rublev to kind of try and lob him.
Yeah, I think he could have done a little bit more with this first forehand here. But let's see, 15-30 here.
And so he's got a second serve at 15-30. Abandons the ball toss, which goes right behind his head.
Whoa.
It was well up.
Sinner's first serve in this game has gone down.
Gets the second serve. Backhand Rublev cross court. Backhand up line. Forehand Rublev to the center. Backhand. It's shanked well out of court. And it's 15-40.
Whoa.
Okay. Now it's Sinner's turn to have to be clutch.
Yeah, he really needs something big here because this game he needs a first serve and he can't buy one right now.
He just bought that one. That was a clean ace.
Yes, that was
just
that was
the
what he
line.
needed. That was what he needed, and he was so good on breakpoints before the set. When I say so good, he was just 2 for 2. But
lots of after mentioning 100% break point saves, suddenly 100% break point conversions, suddenly both guys are getting very good at saving them. Oh, first serve from Sinner is long. Just missed it. It looked potentially good, but not quite there. Second serve, Andrey's going to take it on. Short. Inside out from Sinner. Forehand is way too good. Andrey got a racket on it, but puts it in the net because it was on the stretch, and it's deuce, and that's 2 break points saved from Sinner. And this is very much changed. And once again, it's kind of reflective of the set so far. When it counts, the guys are finding their serves.
Yeah, also good job on that inside out forehand, making Rublev defend with a slice. So he's safe. He's not safe yet, but he's saved these 2 break points. Let's see.
Short return from Andrey, and Sinner punishes it with a cross-court forehand. Advantage Sinner. I mean, would you say at the minute, I'm like basing this off Dave's comment he's just put in, is Sinner visibly struggling physically? We were having our doubts about him in the first set, but I'm not necessarily seeing that in the second.
No, I think the set has been much more about the actual tennis, actually, than the physicality, which is good. That's what you want it to be about.
First serve is let from Sinner to try and close this game out. Second serve, out wide. Rublev's return is out of court and pretty easy for Sinner to deal with, and it's 4-all.
Yeah.
So,
we're at a really intriguing juncture in this match, right? Because of the breakpoint saves and also just a little bit better quality from both. And for Rublev, I mean, obviously he needed that win last week. He got it, but this comment is actually good. Sinner's lack of physical condition versus Rublev's questionable mental condition. Yeah, that's what makes it intriguing. I will say a lot of players right now, Ghosty, are struggling with a bit of burnout on the tour, in terms of just this whole stretch from grass to clay, back to hard, to a different hard in Cincy with such faster conditions and new balls. It has been kind of rough on the players. I don't think anyone has really been able to play their very best tennis on either tour, except for maybe Pegula. I mean, Pegula's been playing some really awesome stuff.
This is where she comes into her own because she plays all the time anyway.
Yeah, although she just got broken back.
Yeah,
I didn't get to see much of that, but looks like she has left 30 on Fernandez's serve at 4-all.
Let's see what she can do. Very short forehand from Rublev there is going to come in and put away the forehand again. Sinner's got to it. Puts over the baseline. Sinner's frustrated and takes off his hat.
Oh, I thought you were just saying he throws a racket, took off his hat.
No, yeah, he literally looked like he was about to try. He was considering throwing his hat.
About as much frustration he'll show.
And it's now 30 of Rublev. Lovely to see Yogi in the chat. Yeah, I have to say, I was kind of gearing up in my brain for if Rublev broke and was trying to serve out here, I would have said that would have come out of nowhere a little bit in the set because this one feels like it's going to go away. Yeah, Rublev's a set up, but he's it's not looking like a done deal. Whereas if he breaks, suddenly it's looking more of a done deal.
Yeah, he'd be serving at 5-3, and he'd be basically in the close to getting in the locker room if he does hold. So, but now it's very different because it was 30 love, but now
yes, and just net rushed that point, forces Rublev to net, and it's 30-all.
Yeah. So I can still get the feeling Sinner kind of wants to keep points short. He hasn't really been digging in really super physically this match.
I mean, as they're into a rally now, I'm going to see if... Oh, Rublev's netted the forehand and he's swiping the racket around. He's not actually making contact with the ground, but it's 30-40. That would look close to a Rublev meltdown, but he's just about thinking better of it. But now he's got another break point to defend.
Oof. I just gotta be careful here. Just keep it together, Andrey.
Yeah.
But he did get the ball that he wanted. He just missed it in the net.
Gets the first serve in, tees up for the forehand. Sinner's there. Forehand again from Rublev. The Sinner forehand, which he shanks. He was off balance again, and it's deuce.
Dang.
Yeah, that was weird. Again, that's almost like what we were seeing in the first set with Sinner being off balance for no particular reason.
Yeah, he was disgusted by that shot, clearly.
I think most of us would be.
Yeah.
Even as amateurs would be.
Oh yeah, I mean, he was in the point. He had a chance to do something with it, but okay, let's see. Deuce, he hits that wide serve. Oh, that's very good wide serve.
Yeah, and it's like his foot got caught, but we probably need to move on a little bit. Great return from Sinner off that forehand, that serve from Rublev. And now they're trading at the minute. Inside out forehand from Sinner to the backhand of Rublev, who then says he's going to change direction cross court. Rublev can't deal with the pickup. We're back to deuce. Interesting question from Yogi. Rublev loves hard hitting, so Sinner's game actually suits him, right? I'm not sure that's how it works, but it's an interesting idea.
Hasn't worked that well so far because usually when they played, Sinner's been like the more dynamic player. He's been a little bit better at protecting his own second serve. He's kind of got the edge in like all the same areas that Rublev has. But yeah, the last couple of times, of course, with Sinner's questionable physical concerns and Rublev's mental state as the underdog, it's been more interesting. And their second set of the Australian Open was more interesting as well. And that one, Sinner came back from 5-2 down in the second set tiebreak, and it seemed like on all the really big points, Sinner usually always had the edge. But we'll see if Rublev beats him again here. That'll give him more belief next time they do play, and Sinner is more at 100%, because right now he's not at 100%.
Hello, Jane. Thought you were lurking again. Advantage Rublev. Backhand from Sinner. Rublev then goes over it. Sinner. Oh, what a backhand from Sinner to save on the inside out.
Yeah, really good shot. Just seeing it right now.
Yeah. I'm not sure Sinner is a bull basher, Yogi. I mean, like, he hits it pretty hard, but not bigger than most guys.
No, he does have really high average ground stroke speeds on both the forehand and backhand, but obviously his game is much more than that. I mean, with how well he moves, how well he covers the court, just how high margin his game is usually.
Oh, interesting shot choice from Sinner to slice the forehand. I've got a backhand from Sinner, backhand Rublev, forehand Sinner. Oh, Sinner's fallen over again. He actually falls over completely off balance. Somehow the rally's still going. Backhand to the Rublev backhand. I mean, Sinner just rolled and then picked himself back up. Still going. Rublev goes up the line with the forehand. Backhand Sinner cross court. Backhand Rublev. Forehand Sinner cross court. Oh, what a rally! What a rally from Jannik. So he finishes with the forehand cross-court winner. And who would have thought it, given he was lying on the ground 30 seconds ago? He's doubled over, breathing heavily. Wow. But that's a highlight reel.
Yeah. I mean, he's hunched over now, but wow, like he had to like pick himself up, and he basically was completely out of the point.
I mean, that's just crazy.
It is, yeah. Look at this forehand right here. He's basically on the ground, has to recover, has to get back up, get his racket on that slice somehow, and then he just stayed in the point, and then yeah, he found his opening with the forehand. Wow. Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that point if Sinner wins the match.
Backhand from Sinner is out. Deuce. I mean, this is like Sinner's fall and being off balance. I was thinking about like looking at them, like it was just like it's like one of his legs just doesn't want to move. Like he wants it to move. He's telling it to move, and it's not responding. Which would explain why he keeps kind of losing his balance, trying to go to the forehand side. It's like the right hip.
Right, and that's something he's been struggling with since the clay swing.
Oh, one of the rallies. Sinner picks off the backhand. Short, and Rublev's frustrated. Advantage Sinner again. Go on, Vanch, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you about the move, the balance. Rublev missed that volley though. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, like, do we know much about Sinner's hip problem?
We don't know too much about it because he hasn't really.
In terms of which hip side it was, or
no, I think it's the right hip.
It is the right. Okay.
But I don't know if it's like a chronic thing or it's more just like general physical issues.
Sinner tries to get a handle on the return and puts in the net. Juice. It's a third break point chance wasted by Sinner. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me with that, because I have a problem with my hamstrings, which means that sometimes my leg doesn't respond when I want it to when I'm trying to move forwards. It means I trip sometimes, but I guess with lateral movement, it would be the hip that would do that. If it's like you're trying to tell your leg to move and something in the muscle just doesn't move properly.
Right. Oh, he had a good running forehand in that rally, and he hit a good slice. He goes for the backhand on the line. He was really out of position.
Advantage Rublev. Can he get through this one? A 10-minute game. Great return from Sinner, though. Now he finds the return. Manages to land in a great spot on the court, and it's back to Juice. What do you say, Vanch? Is whoever wins this game going to get the set?
Not necessarily.
Okay. Not willing to pin your cards to the mast there. It's like, not sure about that. I definitely think if Sinner wins it, he will. I think if Rublev gets it... no, I think actually I'm pretty confident that Rublev can get it if he gets the set.
Okay.
If he gets the game, because I think that's going to be confidence boosting. It might cause some frustration for Sinner, but we'll see. Pegula's going to be serving for the first set, by the way. It's 6-5. Schwan is telling us she's struggling in the wind.
Yeah, she did lose serve twice, but managed to break back. I think both of them were struggling. Honestly, like, who wouldn't struggle in these conditions? It's pretty.
Sinner's 400 turn dumped in the net. 5-4 Rublev. Sinner's going to have to serve to stay in the match.
Yeah, that was very interesting. I mean, Sinner had the highlight reel point. He did some good work, but on the break points, he's been kind of poor in this game. Like he had a lot of looks, and he just kind of wasted a couple of them. The others before that, I give Rublev credit because he saved it with big serves, but I don't know, in this game, that's a good hold. That's a very good hold.
That is it's very impressive how Rublev got himself out of trouble there, because Sinner was coming for him.
Yeah. So the thing about Rublev and his meltdowns is I'm not opposed to them, because I've also seen him play when he doesn't have that fire, and when he bottles it up, it's not great for him when he tries that, because he is just an emotional player. It's just about how quickly can he reset from those meltdowns. So if he has that meltdown, but he lets it kind of linger and it affects the rest of the set, that would be bad. But if he just has it, and he's able to just quickly brush it off, then that would be a huge improvement.
All right, let's see. They're showing replays of that insane point that Sinner fell over on and then hit the clean winner. Yeah. But I think with that, surely everyone else is going to be taking note that if you can get Sinner kind of wide to the forehand, that's the way to
And also, what something that I know is just grass, and obviously you have the skidding effect, but like Medvedev, every time he was going, really hard in that wing, or just with a lot of pace, like straight center was kind of struggling to get out of the way. Like his footwork sometimes he was missing a bit more. Like he was struggling to absorb that pace, even if you hit it really deep. But even centrals for the court, you're seeing like Sinner missing a few inside out forehands in the net, or like just kind of like errors that he wasn't making like the first, let's say, like 6 months after the US Open. Like just they kind of creeped into his game a little bit, since post Monte Carlo.
Great backhand line winner from Jannik Sinner, 30 love. And thank you, Brady, for the update from the grandstand court that Jessica Pegula has won the first set 7-5. Yogi, we talked about Draper versus Felix incident. So at the start of the stream, I know a few people already have joined since, but if you want to recap, as Sinner's double faulted 30-15, brief recap is neither Vance nor I want to talk about it because we kind of want to move on and just say we're up for video reviews. The actual incident itself, other people have said enough on it.
Yeah.
30-15. First serve into the net from Jannik Sinner. Short second serve. Backhand Sinner cross court. Oh! Just cleared the net. Dipped super low and Rublev struggled with it. 40-15. Okay, this is a good bounce back from Sinner. I was wondering how he'd deal with the situation, but he's locking in right now. Ace from Sinner to close out the game. 5-5.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Yogi. We did mention that, right? That we were impressed by how Felix handled the whole situation. And
I think something about, I will say that, like, something I think Felix probably, regardless of how you thought Jack handled it, I think Felix was very fair in that he couldn't guarantee he wouldn't handle it in the same way as Jack did.
Yeah.
Anyway, pressure's back on Rublev already. Probably not ideal for the number 6 seed.
Yeah, Draper did also offer to replay the point, but it's not really up to Felix. I mean, that's up to the...
Oh, great passing shot from Jannik Sinner up the line on the backhand. Love 15. Sinner's just getting better and better at the minute.
Yeah, he was off balance on quite a few of those slice backhands, but then he just found the line, and Rublev not doing enough with that swing volley. But yeah, Jannik just stayed camped in the backhand corner, and he's hunched over after this. Some of those gets, he wasn't in position, but no, his backhand down the line has been a lot better this set, and also just when he's had an opportunity from the middle of the court or just kind of shoulder height, he's been ripping that thing. So let's see if that continues.
And return 700 Rublev to get to 15 all. Now we go. Rublev going to T with the set. Forehand inside out from Rublev. Backhand Sinner looped up. Forehand Rublev is off balance and wide. 15-30. No, 30-15. Sorry, I think Sinner's ball must have been long. Again, can't really see properly.
Yeah, looks like Sinner missed that.
Yeah, he must have done. Rublev definitely missed that. He dumped that ball into the net. 30 all. Another close game on the Rublev serve, and it does feel like that on balance, you would expect Sinner to be the one who breaks. I think Sinner needs to break here.
Yeah. He has, of course, been slightly the better player in this set. It's been Rublev who's been having to scrap his way out of a lot of these service games, face more adversity. After they both traded breaks, of course, in their opening service games, but.
Backhand from Sinner. Backhand Rublev is long, and Rublev is raising his arms. Frustrated that didn't quite go his way. The bunt did not work, and it's 30-40.
Yeah. Sinner is also quite confident in a lot of those backhand-to-backhand exchanges. He feels like he can get on top of Rublev and do some more damage. And he also just has a better change of direction on that wing as well. And just he has more options on that side.
Oh, a huge serve from Rublev. Juice.
Yeah. I mean, some of these first serves and unreturned serves he's hitting breakpoint down. It's pretty good.
So juice. Great serve from Rublev again. Advantage. Yeah, you're right. He's really stepping up when he needs to. Most of these break points. Maybe there was a couple in the last service game where he didn't, and Sinner didn't take advantage. But here, Rublev is doing pretty well with it.
And actually, if he does win this match, that is something I'm definitely going to highlight. Because I do think he deserves credit for that. Like a lot of these break points, he has come up clutch with the serve. And that hasn't always been the case for him this year.
He dumped a forehand into the net. He kind of did a jumping forehand cross court and puts it in the net. Deuce.
Ooh.
I mean, like, quick aside, and this is someone who's actually asking someone who's actually played the game to a higher level than I have, but I was told by my coach, don't do jumping forehands. You're off balance. You have less control of it.
Yeah, it's easier on the backhand because at least you have like you have the left wrist and you can cover it a little bit better, but on the forehand.
What about if you're a single-hander?
Oh, in that case, it's even harder.
Okay.
I suppose. Especially because it's so hard with a single-hander to hit the one shoulder height, Unless you really get on top of it early and you just...
Fair. But yeah, ideally don't jump if you're swinging with one arm on the forehand. Inside out forehand winner from Sinner. Didn't need to jump for that, Juice. Brazy, I'm assuming if you can hit a two-handed forehand, then yeah, go for it. Jump all you want. And probably Santoro needed to because he wasn't the tallest guy.
Yeah, so that time Sinner did find the inside-out forehand, and that was a perfect shot right there. Didn't hit it too close to the lines.
Rublev has played double the amount of points on serve that Sinner has.
Yeah, 55-27. Crazy. That's what it's felt like. He doesn't make a first serve here at deuce. So, and Sinner's going way far back on the return here.
Okay, Sinner kind of going for it. Backhand Rublev up the line. Long. Advantage Sinner. Some great kind of jump. Yeah, loving some insight from Dave on why jumping on either side is bad because you don't get power off it, which I think is more as what my coach was getting at.
Okay, interesting adjustment. He moved back. He got a little bit more air underneath that shot. Seemed like Cahill wanted him to do that. Just give himself a little bit more time, which is smart because he's getting...
Rublev shanks a forehand. It's well out of court. Sinner breaks for 6-5. He will be serving for the set.
Yeah, so eventually the break does come. And you got to say that was probably coming because Sinner was generating all of these chances, and there's only so many first serves that Rublev could come up with on all these situations. Yeah, we'll see if Sinner can serve the set out with ease, and then how they both look in the third. I think Sinner more physically I'm going to be looking at, and then Rublev mentally.
Yeah, because you were saying... you were saying before, right? Like the Montreal match, Sinner faded physically in the decider. He's going to try and avoid that this time.
And those were quicker sets. I mean, because he won the second set very comfortably, almost too comfortably, actually. And then there was a bit of a delay, of course. Both players left off the court. And then Sinner had some chances in the first game, which kind of similar to this one, to some of the other ones he didn't quite take. Rublev came up with some big serves, but Sinner had some chances where he made some uncharacteristic errors, and then the next game is when we saw the physical dip, and then Rublev was able to serve it home. But these first two sets in this match have been different than last week. There's been more twists.
Yeah, but that's for sure. That is for sure. Yeah, I think that I would have to agree with it. So it's definitely been a much closer match and less of a, like, from start to finish. It's not like this weird seesaw of momentum that happened in Montreal.
Yeah. Also
Obviously-
very different conditions.
Yeah,
Different conditions with the wind and the faster surface.
All right, let's see if Sinner serves this out, because he's still got to actually do with that. We can't hand the set to him yet, but the return from Rublev is long, so it's 15-love.
Yeah. Pegula, by the way, 2-love up in the second.
I don't think I'm massively surprised by that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a controversial statement, but I think, and obviously talk about something completely different, but I think if Swiatek, Sabalenka, or Pegula win Cincinnati, that's going to make them favourite for the US Open. Like, whoever, if it's someone else, like the winner of the Badosa, who's Badosa playing?
Probably Yachenkova.
Yeah, I think it's those two, then no. Like, if Badosa or Pavlyuchenkova win it, then no. But if it's any of the other three, then yeah.
Yeah, Badosa, the thing is, her tennises look really good. But 7 matches, 2 out of 3 sets.
I mean, it would be tempting if, given, like, obviously she would have then won Washington and Cincinnati like Coco did last year.
Oh yeah, that's right. But yeah, of course, she still has those question marks physically. Oh, and also just like the level of competition. But I would say, yeah, I mean, I say I'm pretty confident putting Sabalenka like in no matter what. Same with Swiatek. I don't know, like if Pegula wins, I don't know if I'd have her as the top favorite, just because she's never made the semis before. But like I would still have her as one of them. Yeah, I don't think I'd make her a bigger favorite than Swiatek or Sabalenka, even if she wins the title. But let's see. Maybe if she goes through, we'll have to see how it looks.
You have to beat one of them.
Yeah, you'll have to beat one of them to do it. So
40-15. Sin has 2 set points. Try and close this one out.
Yeah.
And,
let's see if Rublev can just hang tough in the third. And then hang tough, and then let's see if how Sinner responds physically, because this was a quite physical second set, right? I mean, it must have been over an hour. It feels like it.
Yeah, Sinner gets it with a long forehand from Rublev.
Sinner, interestingly, in his career so far, hasn't won a match over 4 hours. So.
Yes, so the match is from an hour and 40.
Yeah.
So I think that was nearly an hour. The heat rule was in effect for the Swiatek Andreeva match. Rublev is walking off court.
Okay.
And my stream's gone down.
I think Pegula is broken for 3-love.
No, she's held.
She held, or Fernandez held. Okay.
No.
Yeah. No, she did break. Okay, she did.
It's double break. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
As looks like the women's doubles is underway. Mohammed and Rublev taking on.
I'm looking at the stats for this, and it really doesn't. Wow. I mean, whoever's counting this. Okay, this is kind of interesting. How many unforced errors and winners do you think Rublev hit in this second set?
I mean, the graphic was up, but they cut away from it.
Yeah, I got it on my screen just now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, to be honest.
Okay, I'll just tell you. So Sinner, 17 winners, 16 unforced errors. That sounds about right.
Okay, yeah.
Rublev, 2 winners, 20 unforced errors.
How was that only a 7-5 set?
Right. Obviously, you had 1 double fault for Rublev. You had 7 errors off the backhand. I guess it's really hard to judge in the wind. What is an unforced error? What is forced? It's really hard in these conditions to to kind of judge. They should have like a rule, like if the wind is over, I don't know, 10 miles per hour, 15 miles per hour, you should just call it an error and move on. Like it's just so up to your judgment. Okay, what is an unforced? What is, because if there's some element of being so off balance, then yeah, I don't know.
And
It
this is
just feels really harsh to me. Like
this is probably something you
Right.
had to figure out when you were doing the stats at Cincinnati last year, right?
I did, yeah. Thankfully, I didn't have to do a match like this where it was that windy.
Or was the wind this year worse than last year then?
I know I just didn't have just the days that I was working and the matches that I was on. It just wasn't as big of a factor. Like it was still there, but like for instance, I remember last year Paul Alcaraz, the wind was brutal. But like I didn't do that match.
Okay. Well,
but
we're going 3, and I think the heat rule is in effect, so they are taking a 10-minute break. So I'm guessing then, Vanch, you're thinking this third set is going to completely be up to how Sinner is physically.
I do think it depends on that. Yeah, I think if Sinner is close to 100% physically, he will win. If he is a little bit off, like let's say he's at 80%, 75%, it might not be enough.
Okay. Thinking of Sinner's physicality, obviously we've got the Tiafoe Zverev match to come.
You mean Shelton? Shelton?
Sorry, Shelton, wrong American. Shelton. Tiafoe's playing Runa, which should be a lot of fun. No,
yeah.
Runa's playing Draper. Tiafoe's playing
Hurkacz, yeah.
Hurkacz, yeah.
Which will be after the Fernandez Piccola match. Or wait, no. I don't think I have that right. No.
None of us know what's going on.
No, Tiafoe. No, I do have that right. Yeah, Tiafoe Hurkacz is after Fernandez Piccola. Yeah.
We got there in the end. I'm going to say that Sinner is going to want to play Shelton, not Zverev, if the physicality is a question.
Yes. Regardless, but yeah, even more so with the physicality.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how Zverev looks over Shelton, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's going to be a really big test for Jannik, especially if
whichever
Zverev
one it is.
Yeah. Of course, I remember their match at the U.S. Open last year, which was very brutal physically for both guys, but it was Zverev who handled it a little bit better.
And you'd expect that to happen again?
I would, yeah.
Thinking about, I mean, like, it looks like okay, we aren't doing a heat rule. We are back on court for the start of this third set. Whilst this third set's getting underway, how do you see the other two men's quarterfinals going? So Draper Runa and Tiafoe Hurkacz. I mean, Tiafoe Hurkacz, I feel like Tiafoe might have the edge because Hurkacz is still struggling physically.
Yeah, Hurkacz still though impressively finding ways to dig out of tough situations with the serve, and I think like the injuries kind of loosened him up. So on some bigger points, he's playing more fearlessly than he did in the past. But I think Tiafoe is really sort of fun. I will have to see how much of that match last night took out of him, because they finished really late, like almost 1:32, and it did go to a third set tiebreak. And I kind of wonder maybe there could potentially be a little bit of a lull. One, because I think Hurkacz's game can kind of do that to you, which is one of Hurkacz's strengths, actually, the way he's able to keep those matches a little bit kind of on the boring end. That works to his advantage. And also because Tiafoe isn't playing on stadium, and he really feeds off of the crowd and the energy. So I do sometimes worry about Tiafoe with a little bit of a letdown after a big win, because I do think the Lehechka win was quite big. That is a match that he could have potentially lost. So I'm leaning Tiafoe, but it's very 50-50. Like, I still think Hurkacz can even pull it off, even with the current state of his knee.
Okay.
And then Draper Runa is very unpredictable, because both obviously Runa with the ups and downs, but I think Runa's been playing a little bit more disciplined this week compared to previous weeks. And Draper also physically, I have some some question marks because he also finished pretty late. He also had the 3 set. If it is going to be this hot and this humid, he does sometimes kind of struggle. He hasn't made a Masters semifinal, I believe, so that would be a first for him.
I'd love to see him do that, to be honest.
I think
Like,
I'll go slightly Runa. I'll go slightly Runa.
Yeah, I mean, if Rublev playing better, I'd agree with that. I would love to see Draper make the last 4 of a big tournament.
Of course, yeah.
That'd be so cool. I think it would kind of justify the hype around him.
Okay. Let's see what this odds are. Yeah, so the odds have Tiafoe as a they have Runa as a slight favorite, which I said, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Hurkacz is a slight favorite against Tiafoe. Yeah.
If we got Tiafoe Runa, that would be an explosive match.
It would, yeah.
Oh, Runa! Oh, Rublev's dumped a fine into the net, trying to redirect after a Jannik yawning forehand.
Yeah. Oh, better movement there from Sinner, right?
Yeah. Gaining
Rublev
confidence, maybe.
did a lot on that ball, so that's better signs.
Deuce.
I will say if it's Hurkacz versus Draper, I would also favor Hurkacz.
Yeah, I would too. Oh, Rublev's throwing the racket. He's dumped a backhand into the net's advantage Sinner. The racket is down. It's not broken. He didn't throw it hard enough.
Ooh.
Nil point on the racket smash.
Yeah.
But yeah, advantage Sinner. I think Rublev, I don't know if that's Rublev's mother or someone in the crowd is supporting him, but head in hands.
Yeah, this doesn't look good. These last couple of points, the missed volley, and then also the
trading backhand to it. Rublev's now on the defense, and it goes wide, and there's the racket again. Break for Sinner. There's the Rublev meltdown. Again, racket's not broken, but Rublev's not happy with it, and yeah, we're changing ends.
Is he going to get a warning for this? Because he hasn't broken it, but he's kind of. Does he get a warning? I don't know.
I
don't know. I didn't actually hear if he got one or not, but
maybe not. But yeah, it wasn't ideal for Rublev, and I feel like, you know, that question earlier of which is gonna go first, Sinner's physicality or Rublev's mentality. It seems to be Rublev.
Yeah, we do have some more answers after that game, right? We'll see how Sinner can keep on how Sinner's serving in this set, but so far, yeah, advantage Sinner after that.
By the way, I was asked in the chat by Ghosty my thoughts on Kaboli. The only actual Kaboli match I've watched is that Runa 5-setter they had at Roland Garros, which I thought was a good one. Yeah. Backhand winner from Sinner, by the way. I am, I think Kaboli, regardless of his ceiling and his potential for results, because I don't know, I think you have to. He's been in so many good matches this year. You have to put a circle around pretty much anything he plays against a top player, because you know it's going to be an entertaining battle. And I think in its own way, that matters as much as anything else. Like, it's the same sort of phenomenon with Bublik. You know, if he's playing a top guy, you're going to get entertained.
Yeah. I'm pretty high on him. I'm impressed with his athleticism, his forehand, his like just basically how well he covers the court. Him and Arnaldi are really good movers in terms of like the shots they can get to, what they can do with the racket once they get there. They have good feel as well. Kaboli likes to come forward. He's actually very complete. Like I watched a lot of his matches in DC because he got to the final. And yeah, I think the serve can get a little bit better. Obviously, I think there's still a few more question marks, but I think he's. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the top 10 at some point in his career.
Ace from
Not prepared to go that much further, but I think he can like maybe crack the top 10.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, like, he's got a lot of potential, there's no doubt about it. And I think I would definitely, like, if anyone I know is going to see the tennis, because Kabali's going to be put on outside courts for a while, unless he gets a big result really quick.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he'll be seeded for the U.S. Open. So if he plays one of the top players in the third round, that's a guy I would not want to face.
I would agree. But that, like, I would say, like, if you've got people going to the US Open and Kabali's on an outside court, tell people to go watch him.
Oh yeah, you should go and watch that for sure. Yeah.
By the way, Rublev's got the first point. He's kind of really went for that forehand and hit a winner there. But Sinner retaliates with his own forehand winner, 15-all. So yeah, Sinner's they're really taking to each other now. But tell you what, if this is like them trading forehand winners, game on for this third set.
Yeah.
But Rublev really, really needs to hold this game. Otherwise, it's really going to unravel. And I think Sinner's forehand's blown out of court by the wind, and it's 30-15. Either that or we put way too much side spin on it, but I did think it looked caught by the wind a little bit.
In these last 4 games, we haven't seen Sinner make a lot of those errors that he was making earlier. He seems to be a lot more like sort of centered, hitting the bigger targets, less off balance.
Wide from Rublev, 30-all. Yeah, you're right. The Sinner unforced errors are getting less and less, and it's just we're definitely from the middle of the second set. I mean, to be honest, Sinner probably should have. If Sinner hadn't had that poor game in the trying serving to start at the start of the second set, he probably would have won that set way quicker than he did.
I feel like it, yeah. Because in the first set, he was just really not on his game either.
Short return from Sinner. Forehand from Rublev on the attack. Sinner's still getting it back on the forehand. Rublev's there but Sinner's got a backhand cross court. Now got a Rublev backhand. They're trading cross court on the backhand side. Now Sinner's changed direction with the forehand. Rublev's going to be there. Lifts it up. Sinner's going to have to come to the mid court. Puts it away. He sets up another break point. 30-40.
Yeah. Just so much better, from Sinner.
Yeah, like Rublev was kind of coming at him there, and like the minute Sinner gets the short ball, punches it.
Yeah. There's also a lot more confidence on those forehands, just getting a lot better depth, getting Rublev off balance, and then once he earned the short ball, it was just good night. But actually, if he wins at this point, it'll be 6 games in a row, so virtual bagel.
Not good for Rublev, who has a let on the first serve, which is a shame because that was looking pretty good.
And you see Rublev also just visibly showing his frustration quite a lot more often, especially when he got broken in that 5-all game. And unfortunately for him, it did linger. I mean, we saw the frustrations again in the first game of the third.
Another long rally here. Rublev going for that forehand. I can hear the bwah in my head. And then that huge forehand, Sinner cannot get any purchase on it, and Rublev saves the break point. And Rublev is really going for his forehands a lot more.
Yeah, went for it on the run there. Went down the line. Sinner, yeah, but you have to keep it out of the middle of the court because Rublev can still take it quite early, and he can change direction.
Oh dear. Rublev looked like he was dominating the point, but then the next forehand he dumps in the net as advantage Sinner.
Yeah. This is another thing that I feel like Andrey struggles with sometimes, is if you get the ball below his knees, and if you're like a player on the other side of the net and you're hitting good squash shots, or you're getting a good defensive get, if it's a good slice that stays low, Rublev sometimes struggles with generating that pace. Even though he has a really fast arm, he has really good racket head speed. He's not quite that good at moving inside the court. He's better laterally. So if you can get him to play more, sort of like force him in, he's going to be more vulnerable.
Sinner nets the backhand. It was a tough rally. Either of them could have won it though. Sinner nets the backhand going up the line. Juice.
Tried to change directions there. Don't hate it. He just missed it in the top of the net. So bit of a relief for Rublev.
The wind rushing through Rublev's hair. It's more angst here than he looks like he could be playing in a production.
That's the other thing too. This comment from Super Dave. I agree because, like, you also waste a lot of energy when you get so frustrated. And even though it was Sinner who was visibly struggling a lot more towards the end of the second set, it's it is Rublev's. This is also one of the downsides of those meltdowns that he has.
Rublev double faults, advantage again to Sinner.
Yeah, because all of a sudden, all those physical issues that we were seeing Sinner like potentially dealing with, like, we're just not seeing that anymore. Like, he's very locked in now.
Oh, Rublev completely off balance, trying to go for that serve. I think the wind caught him out there. Very, very off balance. He seems to be waiting for the things to calm down a bit, but I'm wondering whether he's just not coping with the wind well.
That's part of it. I mean, it's picked up in this game.
Oh, Sinner goes for the backhand pass. Rublev kind of, his volley was almost half-hearted. It wasn't enough. And Sinner gets the double break for 3-love.
Yep. It does look like.
I mean, like, it was like he was at the net and Sinner went for the cross-court pass, and it was a very sort of languid, oh, I may as well stick my arm out and maybe I'll get contact.
Yeah, he's just not that comfortable with dealing with the volleys that come really hard at him, and he'd rather retreat back to the baseline. I mean, that's all right if you're good at taking advantage of some of those slices, but I guess in this game, I mean, with the wind, it's even tougher for him.
Leylah Fernandez got breakback points on grandstand. Love 40. Pegula serving at 4-3, and Fernandez has won 13 out of the last 16 points.
Oh wow!
Actually, yeah, it might be 14 out of the last 16 even.
That's a bit of a turnaround I wasn't expecting. 4-love, 4-3. I actually stopped watching after 4-love. So
yeah, I'm seeing it now because like Sky is giving me the picture-in-picture. Pegula wins that point to save the first break point. I'll probably go back to Sinner in a minute because they're coming out on court, but they've got like, yeah, both matches on. I'll keep an eye on the score though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Sinner's out at 3-love, and yeah, looks very much back in control, very much in control of this match, and he's had to really work this one in his favor though.
Oh, and Leylah Fernandez comes up with a forehand cross-court pass. Pegula tries to go behind her on the approach and hits a slice backhand, but kind of floated it a little bit too much. So that's Fernandez with 4 games in a row. And the double break advantage has disappeared for Jess.
I mean, I'm starting to think, can Fernandez come from a set, a break, and match points down to Rybakina, and then a set and double break down to Pegula?
Yeah. I did see this once before with Jess where she was up like 7-5 4-love in Charleston. I think it was last year against Begu. And she went on to lose like the next 10 games in a row. And she was down 4-love in the third and then came back and won it. So
there's precedent here for JPEG.
Yeah. But she does hit a very good drop shot here. I like how she goes cross court sometimes with her drop shots because sometimes the down the line backhand ones are a little too predictable.
Sinner again struggles off balance on the forehand again, being dragged out wide by the Rublev forehand. And yeah, that's the kind of area we were seeing a little bit more in set 1 from Sinner. Yeah, his leg just didn't move the way he expected
other
it to.
opponents are going to be wanting to exploit.
Hey, Ashley. Good to have you back.
Yeah, there was always this was always really the question, that mentally, if Rublev is in a position to, win this again.
I mean, he's just forced an error on the backhand from Sinner with a great forehand up the line.
Yeah. I think now you're going to see him start to play a lot more loose Rublev, and he's gonna kind of not be as restricted in his head.
Ace from Sinner, 30 all.
But he might not even get the chance because Sinner might be just too far ahead in the score.
Yeah, I think if you get to one of these breaks back, it's a different story. If it goes to 4-love, I think he might get one break back, but it might be too little too late for 2. Once it gets to 4-love.
Feels like it, yeah.
He's got a second serve at 30 all to look at from Sinner.
He's winning this match also with less than 50% first serves in, which is
Sinner.
Yeah.
Wow.
49% for the match.
He's doing the Rabakana.
Right. Another parallel between them.
Are there any other parallels between the two of them? Double fault for Sinner. That's another parallel. 30-40. Dave, I don't think Zverev hates playing lefties.
No, actually, Zverev loves that. He has a really good record against them. Yeah.
And suddenly, Sinner's gone off the ball a bit as he is pushed back by a return from Andrey Rublev that clips the line, the ball from Sinner's in the net, and Andrey's got a break back. 3-1.
All right. Well, yeah, a few more second serve looks there, but Rublev did well to get Sinner off balance on like 3 of those points. So it's a good effort to get one break back. Will it be enough? We'll see. Yeah, very fascinated by Swiatek Sabalenka tomorrow. I will have my eyes fully on that one.
Yeah, if I'm around for that, I'll keep an eye on it
tomorrow for sure.
I'll look at the schedule when it comes out in the morning, my time.
See, they've already played in conditions once that are more favorable for Sabalenka, and that was an absolute epic. So.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, I think it's going to be. I would love it to be an epic. I don't know whether Swiatek. I mean, Swiatek will still be able to get plays on Sabalenka, but I think Sabalenka, this is going to be the opposite of Rome, pretty much.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I wonder if Swiatek might still be able to sneak a set, but I'm not sure about.
But yeah, you're right. That US Open match they played in 22 showed Swiatek can compete with her on fast courts.
Yeah, I think she can compete, but it's still a little harder for her to absorb. Actually, the 3 wins that Sabalenka has, I think Swiatek has at least been able to take a set. Oh yeah, because 2 at the WTA finals and then Madrid 2023. Those are her 3 wins. Yeah, US Open was a big one for Iga because she was down 4-2 in that 3rd set, and then she won 16 of the last 20 points, and then
it was probably her first big win, big comeback win.
Yeah, she had a few escapes in that tournament, right? She also had that escape against Niemeyer in the 4th round where she was a set and a breakdown.
Yeah, I mean that could have made that US Open very different.
Right.
Imagine
even the Pegula match was actually kind of tough I remember calling the Pegula match in the quarters, and it was just a break fest. It was a 6-3, 7-6, but I don't think they held their serve once in that second set.
Do you know what? I completely forgot about that, but I think you might be right.
Yeah, and then of course, the final against Ons was a bit more straightforward. Obviously, some adversity in the second set.
Yeah, I think Swiatek just somehow played better as the tournament went on after the Pegula match. Sinner's got Rublev's gone wide with the forehand, or long with the forehand, and it's 30-40. There's a lady with.
This would be basically a match over if Sinner breaks here.
I'd agree with that. There's a lady with a carrot plushie in the audience. 30-40. Second serve for Rublev. Backhand from Sinner looped up. Forehand, Rublev, again, more loop on it. Backhand and across court, pushing Rublev out of court. Sinner's having to run for that forehand. Great running forehand from there. Rublev has got forehand out the line. backhand Sinner, off balance. Again, Rublev going for the Sinner. Backhand just clears the net. Oh, here we go. Backhand cross court from Sinner. Backhand Rublev to the Sinner forehand. It's mid court. Oh, gosh, there's so many kicking balls at the minute. Oh, and Rublev's dragged the backhand wide. He drops it. Hunches over. Good grief. I mean, like, that was a weird rally from both. The wind looked like it was playing havoc with the ball.
It was just swirling because they were both trying to get width, but it was just coming back central, and then that was tough. But I felt like the longer the rally would go, I was favoring Sinner, where I wouldn't have said that actually the first couple of sets, because it didn't look like Sinner wanted to engage in a lot of those rallies. But it looks like he's also found a second win, but also the like he's found something extra here in this third set, and also Andrey being a bit more frustrated has also helped him.
By the way, we're into a marathon service game for Leila Fernandez on grandstand. 4-all. Both players have had points to get the game.
Back at deuce. This is a really long game.
Crazy game. Can't see it at the minute, but maybe I'll switch over in a minute. Could be a bit of an epic. I mean, speaking of epics, what would you say has been the best matches from Cincinnati so far on the men's and the women's side? In terms of to watch? You can have more than one.
Wow. I enjoyed Andreeva Swiatek today. So I'm going to put that up there.
I'm interested to see how much hype there is about that one on Twitter. I haven't checked it.
Interestingly, I don't feel like the quality has been that high in any of these tournaments, like in these two Masters events.
I've been noticing that. Like, I've been there hasn't been so many much social media buzz.
I don't think any of these matches are going to be match of the year sort of contenders.
I like to try and keep a record of maybe what the best matches from the week were.
I think there's actually a few more maybe. Shelton Echeverry was pretty good. I agree with that.
I think because I woke up this morning and I checked the results before I looked at Twitter. So I saw the 3-setters between Tiafoe and Lehechka. I was like, oh, that looked like that was a bit of a blockbuster.
So I think Tiafoe Lehechka was definitely one of them.
And then I opened Twitter and no one was hardly anyone was talking about it because everyone was talking about what happened with Draper and Felix.
Right.
Which on paper should also have been a good match based on the score.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday the two matches that got the most attention was definitely Monfils Alcaraz, and then also the
true, yeah.
Draper and Felix one. I wouldn't necessarily say that was like an awesome match, the Monfils Alcaraz one, but obviously we had the storylines with Alcaraz showing some frustration, Monfils getting the win, and it was a big result for Gael. A good tournament from him.
Sinner aces to close out that game to love 5-1. Yeah, good tournament from Monfils. I was very pleased with that.
Yeah, he's still showing that he's got some more tennis, really great tennis left in him. So,
all right, what do you think? Rublev hasn't held serve since holding for 5-4 in that epic.
He holds here and then Sinner serves it out in the next game.
I would hope so, because it'd be a shame if he didn't hold serve for the rest of the match after that.
Yeah.
Just misses that serve. When he gets the new ball, I think it's a let. Sinner should return his mid-court. Long from Sinner, they love. Yeah, Siobhan, I know what you mean. Like, I haven't seen any. I mean, Swiatek Andreeva probably is one of the better matches from Cincy. Probably, Townsend Dolhide was very close because it was a really sider.
I did not see that match.
The only match I heard like a lot of positive things was actually a match that you tweeted about from Toronto. Was Navarro Kostyuk 7-5, 7-5.
Yes, that was definitely an underrated gem that I called with Damien. Wasn't the highest quality, but it was very, very intriguing the way they were constructing points. And the end of both sets was really good. Oh, what will I say about other matches in Toronto? I mean, it's not really a match, but Anisimovan's run to the final was quite a good story. Yeah, and then also
Rublev has double faulted, and Sean has told us that Fernandez held that marathon game. Pegula's going to be serving to stay in the second set, 4-5.
okay, was a good effort. 5 games in a row. It looked like the match was over at 4-love.
Not quite yet.
Yeah.
Rublev's trying to get this game to hold on in this match a little longer, but he's double faulted again, 40-30. Gets a 40-love and then double faults twice. I know another match from Cincinnati, again, ATP side, that got a lot of attention. I think a lot of people were quite hyped about it, was Kabali beating Paul. As Rublev.
It's interesting. It hit his shoe as he was tossing it.
Okay, interesting.
It hit his shoe. So does that mean?
Oh! Sinner had a ball there, but he dragged it way too wide. It was like he went for a cross court rather than up the line.
Yeah. All right. Well, he'll serve it out now with 5-2. Yes, I did hear that comment, Dave, about Alcaraz saying it's his worst match at ATP level. Originally, I thought he was kind of exaggerating. I was like, I'm trying to think if I can come up with another one that was worse, but I think
he still got a set. I
think he meant mentally, and I did feel like he was good in the first set, and he was also good for most of the second set until the tiebreak. And from there, he was poor at converting some break chances, but I don't think it was. I listened to that whole thing. I was a little surprised he didn't give one piece a little more, at least some credit. But I think he was just so pissed at how he was feeling really good in practice. He was feeling so good coming here. I think he was poised for another deep run, but he just had one of his worst days mentally, and he couldn't control his emotions. So he was quite annoyed about that. But then he apologized on Twitter today about the racket smash, which I don't think he needed to do, but hey, it shows.
Well, I guess that's the image he wants to produce, right? And maybe there's an expectation that like he hasn't said that, and like he doesn't do that. Maybe it's a Spanish thing; they don't like that. Rafa play standard.
Yeah, definitely the Rafa thing, maybe. Yeah, and maybe just in general, because we have seen him frustrated, but we haven't seen him, break a racket. Like I have seen him like throw a racket before. I haven't seen him break one. But yeah, I think to be honest, I think this could be a blessing for him. He has more days before the U.S. Open. He'll just kind of, maybe there was also a little bit of a hangover from the Olympics, from losing that gold medal match that he so wanted against Novak, and so some of that carryover plus obviously the rain delay here. I mean, you can definitely like explain the loss. It's just
I don't think
it's also a different player in best of 5 recently, like Carlos in best of 5 versus best of 3. There's a huge gap in his win percentage. I do think he's much harder to put away in best of 5 with just the peak level that he can find and just ride through. So I'm not too worried about him for the US Open.
Oh, Rublev cross court forehand right in the corner. Sin's tries to hit the running forehand. It goes up the line and he misses it. 15-all. Fernandez had love 40 on the Pegula serve. Pegula saved 2 of those set points.
Okay. It's quite a turnaround. Hopefully she doesn't do another big goo again and goes down 4-love in the third.
Doesn't need that. Great placement on the second serve from Sinner. Backhand up the line from Rublev. Forehand up the line from Sinner. Long, 15-30. Pegula saves another set point. Deuce. Tense times across Cincinnati. $15.30. Let's keep an eye on what happens here on centre court. Great serve from Sinner. No, it was it was out. Never mind. It's a little bit. The sun. I think the sun's gone behind a cloud, so it's easy to see what's going on. Backhand from Rublev. Forehand insight from Sinner. Long. 15.40. Rublev's got 2 break back points. Not clinical from Sinner here. Trying to serve out.
Yeah, interesting. This is just kind of very up and down from Sinner, to be honest. And I mentioned the below 50%. I mentioned all these things, but it's just that he had that string of games, from 4-5 to 3-love in the third, where he just locked down, and it's a lot of games in a row that he won. Or sorry, was it even 7 in a row because he went up 4-love? So, oh no, he didn't. No, he got broken back at 3-1. So 6.
Pegula's ended Fernandez's run of games and has held for 5-all. That could be very important for her.
Yeah, she saved those set points in really good fashion as well as swing volley and another winner.
Sinner somehow hits an unreturnable second serve. Maybe just jumped a bit too high for Rublev, but 30-40.
Yeah.
The wind's really swirling around here. Second break point for Rublev. First serve from Sinner's way out.
Okay. Second serve here.
He's double faulted.
Oh, wow.
Double faulted. This match is going to keep going. Rublev serving at 3-5.
I'm pretty sure this match is not going to be one of match of the year contenders.
No.
No chance, right?
No, I would agree with that. Hey,
no, and usually like their matches are quite good because of the hitting contest, and even though Sinners won all of them, they've been like entertaining. Like this one is just because of the variables, it's not been up there for sure.
Wind kind of kills a lot of quality.
It does, yeah.
But hey, maybe everyone's saving their best for the US Open and we'll get some absolute blockbusters in New York, which is where they should be. Best tennis should go.
I really hope the burnout is a bit better for these players, and I hope we see really good matches there. I think we will. I'm optimistic, but
I mean we have before.
It's a short turnaround. Like also the final this year being on a Monday. Imagine they play a really physical final, whoever it is. It's a quick turnaround for them.
Rublev shanks a forehand well out of court, 30-15. Yeah, I mean, like, it's one day, and if that player gets to play on a Tuesday, it's not the end of the world. Like, the two of them get to play on Tuesday, but it's going to really depend on the draw and how that all works out. Because obviously it's not going to be a top, well, it might be one top 4 player, Sinner or Zverev, but shanked return from Sinner. Rublev wants to see what he bounces. Actually, he bounces in the court. Rublev's going to hit an overhead from the baseline. Sinner's backhand does not find the court. It's 40-15.
Oh, I mean, this is now beginning. This all of a sudden got interesting. 5-1 to 5-4. Rybakina, yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit worried about Rybakina right now. A bit worried about her health.
I look, at the end of the day, if we don't know enough about it, it's not worth worrying.
Yeah, no, in the sense worried in the sense I wouldn't be picking her to go on a really deep run in the US Open. She's just never done well there.
No, I've not. Weirdly, despite the fact that the game should work here.
Yeah, I don't think she's been past the third round.
No.
Yeah.
Sinner's netted 4-5. Sinner's gonna have to serve for the match again.
Yeah, and Fernandez does a good job to hold here for 6-5. So that match is very interesting right now with Pegula serving to stay in the second set.
After being Sean is all over that match for us, luckily. Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how hard Sinner finds it to hold here.
Yeah, we'll see if you can like just shake off that disappointment of the last 3 games and just be clinical again.
But going back to your Rebecca point, yeah, I mean, like, I think JI shared something about, like, yeah, she's never done well at any US hardcourt event. And given it's fast hardcourts, okay, the ball behaves a little bit different in Australia, where she is pretty strong historically. But I do find it weird that she doesn't seem to perform at this point in the season, especially since it
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we only had like 2 years of her really being like a contender, so
that's fair.
I will say, yeah, I mean, last year she lost to Christia. The year before that, she lost in the first round. I can't remember to who, but
I think it was a tough draw. I think I remember right.
Yeah,
because it was like that point where she didn't get any points from Wimbledon, and so her ranking was kind of screwed. So everyone was looking at being like, yeah, she's underranked.
Yeah, I remember she lost like the very first day before the tournament really even like got going.
Mm.
It was like a quick match as well. It was against Clara Burrell. Okay, I'd forgotten about that.
Brazy, to answer your question, I do watch doubles and mixed doubles. Usually the finals or like deeper parts of the tournament, just because there's just so much singles to keep up with. But I do enjoy watching it, and like, you know, I'm kind of interested in how the women's doubles is going to end up working out in Cincinnati as well. 15 love Sinner. They're into a rally right now. Sinner's backing up the lines wide, 15 all.
Okay. Well,
I did see, by the way, to kind of come back on your point about Rebecca's health, Schwarner, I don't feel comfortable telling someone they have to fix their health, especially since it might not be something that can be fixed. It might just have to be managed.
Yeah, maybe she just has like, because we just don't know what the problems are, and it's like not up to. It's like up to her. It's a pretty personal thing, so I don't know really what. She just seems to be getting ill a lot. Like that's all we know. It's like a lot of sickness, a lot of. I don't know if it's chronic, if it's just one-off stuff, but it's a lot of tournaments she's basically missed.
Yeah, and like that's like you just have to. She just has to manage it, and as best she can. 40-15, unreturnable serve from Sinner. 2 match points. Let's focus on the world number 1 in the men's game right now. He's going to try and close this out. He's obviously doing a lot better in his previous service game, but overhits the first serve. He was keen on trying to get this done quick. Short second serve. Rublev gets the ball in. Forehand from Sinner up the line, up the middle. Backhand from Sinner cross court. Backhand Rublev. Again, the wind's playing a bit of havoc here. Shortens Sinner's ball there. Says really hitting to the wind, I think. Backhand, forehand again from Rublev. Sinner again. Rublev kind of picks it up short from Sinner. Oh! Wind catches the ball, makes it bounce weird. Bounces to the side. Rublev loses balance. And, well, it was a bit of a messy way to end a messy match, but Jannik Sinner is into the Cincinnati semi-finals, and it's pretty good natured at the net. But yeah, I feel like that was probably the best way of summing it up, Vanch.
Yeah, good job on the final point there. I will say, you know, Sinner, those 6 games that he won from 4-5 in the second set to 3-love, that was really big. That really kind of carried him through to the finish. We did see him elevate his level during that stretch, and also Rublev got a little frustrated. The wind was also playing a big factor as well. Sinner was playing a little bit smarter in those conditions. And yeah, overall he comes through, but it wasn't easy. You know, 5-1 and then back to 5-4, and it was definitely not a super memorable match for their quality. But Sinner does get the revenge. He is in the semifinals, and he does play the winner of Shilton and Zverev.
Who we said earlier, like Zverev is someone he has a difficult matchup with anyway.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see them play because they haven't played since the U.S. Open match, and like that's the one player that I haven't seen Sinner play against, like one top player in this sort of new world number 1 phase of Sinner. So I'll be interested to see that if it does happen. But of course, Shelton, you know, he'd have the whole crowd behind him. He's in with a shot for sure.
Yeah. I think it's going to depend on if Sinner's return is better than it was today against Rublev, who has a good serve, but it's not as big as Shelton's. Then it's a different story. I think if Sinner's return game is off, he might struggle with Shelton.
Yeah, they've had a few tight battles. I think at Wimbledon they had one tight set.
Shanghai.
Yeah, Shanghai obviously is Shelton won in a third set tiebreak. That was after I think Sinner coming off of that win in Beijing. But then he got him the next week in Vienna, 7-6, 7-5, and then he also got him in Indian Wells earlier this year, one tight set, then one tight set at Wimbledon. So, I don't know, just because that'll be so much more serve and return based. I still like Sinner if they end up playing. But if it is Zverev, I mean, there's going to be a lot more tough questions in terms of like long rallies, physical, and like, obviously the matchup as well. So, will be interesting.
I've got the Fernandez Pegula tiebreak on, by the way. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting. But yeah,
do we want to stay for the tiebreak?
Can do.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. We can talk about Sinner in between.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting that certainly the definition of Sinner season from Monte Carlo onwards is struggling, kind of battling his own body to get as deep in the draw as he possibly can.
Yeah, he's won one title since then. He won Halle on grass, and then he won, and then he's still been making semis and quarters. It's been good enough to do that, but still hasn't won a big title since Miami. So he'll be looking to do that this week.
Big, yeah, and it's not been his fault really. So I think the semi-final, whoever he plays, is going to be absolutely critical. Although the final's not going to be a cakewalk either, whether he plays Hurkacz, Tiafoe, Draper, or Rune. Fernandez is 3-1 up with a mini break in this tie break, by the way. I might switch the score over. Get this up.
Yeah, I mean, Pegula is just very frustrated right now. As of course, she really thought she'd had this match wrapped up and should be in the locker room. I didn't actually see that stretch from 4-love to 4-4, so I don't know how much of it was Pegula being off or Fernandez coming up with some brilliance.
Yeah. I'm the same. I'm not paying super close attention, but there's nothing I'm seeing that's making me lean one way or the other on it. So I guess we'll see. But
I
yes,
have seen Pegula regroup from disappointments, and she's one of the better players, I would say, on the WTA doing that.
Pegula's double faulted 5-1 Fernandez.
So I would not be shocked if she manages to find a way to regroup. I would also not be shocked if Fernandez somehow rises out this match, because that is a lot of tennis now that Jess has played. And she could, be like a loss here wouldn't be too bad. I think that would be, she'd still have all the prep she needs.
Pegula.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, like, she's got some match wins under her belt. No one likes to lose, though.
No, for sure.
Because I was trying to work out something I was going to look at. Has anyone ever done a Canada-Cincy double on the women's side? Because we know, obviously, Rafa's done it on the men's.
Has Serena never done it?
Serena's done it.
No? Okay. Yeah, maybe, actually. I don't think she has.
Because Cincinnati's only been
back big, like, I don't know, Steffi or
2009. What was that match? Sorry, I talked over you.
Oh, we have to go back to like Steffi, maybe. Oh, Steffi or Selish.
Steffi, yeah. Steffi probably did.
Yeah, Steffi kind of did everything, so I would probably not be shocked.
Yeah, but again, Cincinnati, a bit like with Indian Wells, took a while to become a big women's event as well as a men's.
Yeah.
Canada was the only for a long time. Canada was the only pre-US Open warm-up in terms of 1,000 level. And unreturnable serve from Fernandez seals the tiebreak 7-1. That just went.
Yeah, that was quick. Fernandez had some good angles there. I mean, Pegula, a couple of points she was disgusted with herself with, and okay, well now it's going to be interesting to see if she can bounce back from this.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested. I'm going to put the deciding set on after we finish this stream. Let's wrap up the match we just watched between Sinner and Rublev. Thoughts on where Rublev goes from here? Still an overall positive outcome from this tournament, even if he couldn't. He did kind of fade at a critical moment in the match and didn't really recover. But still, overall, going deep into hard court tournaments has got to get his confidence back where it needs to be.
Yeah, still overall pretty much positive, because still made the finals, still got to the quarters, still got the wins under his belt. I mean, we'll see how he can perform at the U.S. Open, and if he can break that quarterfinals. You know, if he gets to the quarterfinal, I think that'd still be pretty good. You know, given how his season has gone. So I don't think too much to worry about. U.S. Open has generally been pretty consistent for Andrey. He's usually done pretty well in those conditions in terms of consistently making it to quarters, third round, fourth round. So yeah, I still think overall positive.
Yeah, overall positive for Rublev, but definitely very positive for Sinner. And now he's going to be sitting back and waiting to see who his opponent is in the next round. But yeah, I think we kind of covered everything today. Vanch, thanks so much for joining me in this. It made this much more fun to follow with you around and talking all kinds of tennis topics. And I hope we get to do this again.
Yeah, should be pretty fun. I mean, we got to do a little bit of all three. We did the entire Rublev Sinner, and we did very little of Sabalenka Samsonova, just the second set, and then also just some of this other women's match. So yeah, look forward to it, and we'll do it again soon.
Definitely hope we get to do another stream together. And I hope to get a stream together with all of you, Ashley, Dave, Ghosty, Schwarner, Nerlan, if you're still around. It's going to be a good time, and I love it, and I enjoy watching, and Jane as well. Enjoy watching tennis with all of you, and I hope to do it again. We've got more streams coming. Hopefully, we'll be bring you more coverage of later matches this event as the third set from Pegula Fernandez gets underway. So maybe join you for one of those or a WTA weekly episode. Let's find out. Thanks for everyone watching. In the meantime, take care and keep talking tennis.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.